We're live.
Hi, welcome back to Adventure Hook, Dark Sun, Fire, and Sand. As usual, I'm your faithful DM, the Wanderer, Aaron Campbell, comic book artist and now writer, actually. And with us is our usual crew. As always, we want to start up with starting that upper left-hand corner and work our way down.
What's the item? Is our order all the same?
Yep.
It's stream oriented, not Zoom oriented.
Doesn't matter how many times we do this.
You know what, Mr. Wanderer? If you said, why don't we start with Mark, then Mark would know to start with Mark.
Yeah.
And
Next
then,
time,
well,
just
see,
throw
but
it
I
in.
don't want to say let's start with Mark, and then Mark is like, "Hi, I'm David." Has to be different, and then everybody's confused. And
Okay, so let's start
I'm
with
David.
David. Yeah.
Oh, so I'll say let's start with David, and that way then you can say.
I don't think that's
you
going
don't
to help.
repeat what I said.
I don't think that's good.
Hi,
I'm
my name's
David, and I'm
Mark.
playing the role of Gandalf the Grey
That sounds bad.
as we attack the Death Star.
TM. Yeah.
I think maybe Mr. Andreyko, if you would start us off.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm a writer. I'm not David. I'm Mark.
Hi, I'm Joe Annabi, and I will be playing Geza Akos, the bird who cares about Athos and its people.
I am Joseph Millard, and I'm playing Crocus, the half-giant barbarian boy. Mm-hmm.
I'm Emelie O'Hara. I'm playing Desiderata, the half-elf.
Bada boom. In and out.
And I'm Robert Randle, and I am playing Ma'ak Ari, a Thrycreen or Mantis Man psionicist specializing in telepathy.
All right. So, I think like I've kind of thoroughly dispensed with the shtick of doing little tableaus of the Wanderer at this point. It kind of grew on me, or it stopped growing on me. So,
Hey man, life is all about change.
But before we get moving, should we any banter, any little bits of banter anybody wants to get into? Anything interesting happening in the last couple weeks?
Let's talk about gender.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
What do you want to say about gender, Crocus?
I don't know. It's meaningless.
Crocus?
Yeah.
Do you identify as a boy giant?
Or are we doing this in character? Okay.
Yes.
I identify as strong.
Yes, okay.
That's it.
Okay.
I can verify that he is a boy giant, as I punched him in the dick a few weeks back.
Yeah.
Well,
Knock that.
you know
log.
what he uses to go to the restroom, Char, but that doesn't have anything to do with who he is.
If he just uses to go to the restroom, it's a waste.
Because, boy, is it designed for maximum pleasure. Let me tell you. That's what you're all. Char's just looking at that like, God, goodness. Woof.
Be careful, Char. He's a large half giant.
Why is it wearing a turtleneck? We're in the desert.
Oh,
Would
man.
you
Okay.
circumcise a half
Aren't you
giant?
glad you asked for
No. I have to get into this now. Would you be a moil for a half giant?
That sounds like a game show on Fox.
Would you be a half? Yeah, it's.
Are you smarter than a fourth grader?
Yeah, Bill Engvall this time though. Here's your sign. Do you cut off his half giant's foreskin? Here's your garden shears, because he's big.
Well, if they get it done in
half-giants-
their infants, sure. But if it's like an adult decision, hell no.
Somebody did. That would be like an actual turtleneck. I can imagine like
A human wearing that.
Like turtlenecks. Like,
Oh yeah, it's about that size, huh?
Make it into a sail on a ship.
Yeah. That's silly. If we're talking about fantasy levels of foreskin, you just went absurd.
No, because you rub it and it gets larger.
What kind of sail are you talking about? Maybe a sail for like a boat full of pixies or brownies.
Oh man. Okay, well we just lost a viewer, so
I fucking wonder why. We're talking about
can imagine.
half giant foreskin being made into a sail. This is riveting.
I'm here for it.
yeah. Oh man. Jeez. Here's anybody here managed to get their hands on a copy of George Perez's you did. His JLA Avengers crossover that they reprinted. So you managed to get a copy of that. Oh man.
I sold it for $1,000. I'm gonna buy drugs.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Well, people had already been shops had already been marking it up from $30 to over $200.
Are you serious?
Which I have
Yeah.
no problem with that if they donate all the money to charity. But
But they're
we'll
obviously
see how that
not.
goes.
I mean, my question is why didn't they sell it to begin with? They should have just sold it at $200, which is a completely reasonable price for that, especially for the charity part of that. And then Hero Initiative would have gotten the entire, gotten all of that extra money that's being made off of that book.
Well, it's not all going to the Hero Initiative. I think some of it's also going to the American Cancer Society as well.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, either way, both good, charities, which could have made a lot more. I'm still kind of confused why they didn't do a $200 price tag on that. But I mean, because I ordered the which still hasn't come out yet. After John Paul Leon passed away, his studio mates at Boulevard put together are putting together this really incredible artist's volume of Challengers of the Unknown that he did, and that was like $200, and that was of course all that's going to John's family, but still good cause, and it's perfectly reasonable for that. So, and the higher you jack that price up, the less likely it is that shops are going to be able to pocket so much money. I mean, $30, and then you've got people selling for like 250, so they're making and there was a 7,000 print run,
6,984, I believe.
If we're gonna be accurate.
No,
Yeah.
I'm seriously. It was less than 7,000 because apparently they ran out of paper.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anybody who sells that book for a profit and pockets the money deserves to get cancer. That's a horrible, horrible thing to do.
Yeah.
That's playing with bad juju right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
it is.
cancer benefit book that you're trying to bleed money on.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know. It's devastating. Because I followed George on Twitter. I've never met him, but I'm seeing all of the shots of him meeting. Having old friends come over and kind of have their final moments with him, and it's just heartbreaking. It's fucking.
No, I got to see him. He was out here, and he came out to California right before he got really, really sick for sort of a farewell tour. And he is, if anything, nicer and more passionate than he seems. And the way he's handling this has been a real lesson to, if you ever you are dying of a terminal illness, learn everything you can about it and empower yourself, because I have never seen a person so much at peace and so much in control of his own fate. And he's a wonderful guy, and he's one of the most influential artists in popular culture of the 20th century. So it's but he is as lovely as you think, and it's really a bummer. But if you got to go, he's handling it the way someone should do a study about him, because he's doing it with such class and such grace and such sincerity. When I saw him, I was really afraid he was going to be consoling me because I was going to be sobbing. And it was bittersweet, but it was far more sweet than bitter. You realize to tell people I love that I love them, because you never really, I don't know if I'll ever get a chance again in my life to talk to someone where I know it's going to be the last time I see them, and nothing is left unsaid. And it is so empowering and so
Uh-huh.
glorious to know he knows how loved he is, which is also wonderful too. He's getting to sort of attend his own funeral in a lot of ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just a wonderful, wonderful guy. So if any of our viewers want to do a good thing, donate $5 to the American Cancer Society in George's name, because chances are one of these movies you saw or a video game you play or a cartoon you watch has his fingerprints all over it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That was really nice, Mark. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for letting me have the chance to say it.
Okay. Well.
See, I can be sincere.
Yeah.
It's not all just like dick and cum puns. That's
Only when I'm
okay.
talking
All right.
when I'm talking to you, Crowcus.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was about to say, when you die in like 70 years, that'll be my eulogy.
Oh, that's fine. I want dirty jokes and offensive things told. I don't.
It'll be.
Absolutely.
You're invited to Marc Andreyko's.
I want it to be a roast.
Cake.
Mm.
It won't all be cum and dick jokes.
It would be great
oh,
if your funeral was an actual roast, and at the end of the roast they cremated you. They literally roasted you.
So, yeah, my family's.
I think I have something to put in my will.
So, I think it's okay to have like a few more sentences about death because it's something
with a giant pizza pile, like
a pizza pile.
Isn't that what they're called? The pizza spatulas? They're called piles, right?
Are they?
Peels. No, peel. A pizza peel.
Piles mean something different in Britain.
Yeah, the
But yeah, no, death.
ridiculous spatula, right? That
Yeah. It's called a peel, not a pile. It's a peel. Any rate. All right. Well, we took it down. We brought it back up a little bit, and I think that is probably our cue to get into things. So, and scene.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nailed it.
nailed it. All right. And in just 3 hours, the Clutch will find itself in very different company from what they've been used to. Crowcus is set to entertain a symposium of the elite Tyrian citizens with his combat prowess at the house of Nerissa Dreve. She runs Nerissa's Colors and Scents, a haberdashery specializing in luxury amenities in the Noble District. In her, by appointment only store, one can purchase perfumes, body oils, face paints, and lavish accessories for dizzying prices. But it is well known that her passion lies in the extravagant parties she is infamous for hosting. These events are by invitation only, and securing a place on the guest list is the aspiration of anyone hoping to climb the social ladder of tier. It is always sure to be an eclectic gathering. Nobles, Templar, merchants, gladiators, and anyone who catches the interest of Nerissa can find themselves in the rarefied air of her townhouse. Take care, though. The Symposia of Nerissa can elevate one to unimagined heights of power, wealth, and influence, or assure one's ruin. As the old saying goes, when the dragon comes, where will you be? However, with the tragedy of Shadow Square just hours past, how can the Clutch possibly be fully present? So, where we left off, the Clutch had separated. The majority of the group had made their way back to the Golden Inex, where they reconnected with Pressure Bay, who was able to give them some insider information as to the events of this evening. You found out that Crowcus would be fighting a Thrycreen of particular interest, named Hoxa, this evening in a submission bout. You also found out that Hoxa is unique in that she is of the Jez species or subspecies of Thrycreen. She's the only one in living memory to have been seen in the Tablelands, and evidently she hails from a region far to the south, a borderland on the edge of a region known as the Deadland, a vast sea or plain of obsidian, pure obsidian, for as far as the eye can see. You also found out that she is fighting for her freedom. She is quite old as Thri-Kreen go, in her 28th year, and she seeks to win this fight against Craucus so that she can gain a place, a dedicated place within the arena games that are coming up for the Festival of the High Sun in just under 3 weeks. And if she can do that, all she has to do is survive that fight, and she will be set free, allowing her to go on her final hunt as a Thri-Kreen, a sacred rite of passage for all Thri-Kreen who enter into the final stage of their life. You also found out that she has only three upper appendages. One of them was torn off in a battle in the arena some years ago. And she does not like to play to a crowd. She is evidently brutally efficient, and she tries to end her fights as quickly as possible, which, in spite of her exotic appearance and background, has made her not a particularly well-liked fighter in the arena. And so it's been well over a year since her last public fight. Craucus has made it very well known that he has no intention of pulling any punches, because you have also found out that Omalero has decided that she will no longer require the tiara to be stolen from Narissa, as was her original request. She simply wants the prize from this bout, which is a steel dagger. Meanwhile, Ma'ak had been following Sapphire, one of the monks of the Verdant Revival, and had followed them north out of Shadow Square after the Templar had started to sweep the entire area, and followed them up past the Elven Bridge, where an ancient memory was reawakened in Mach, revealing to him the true origins of the city of Tyr. That sometime over 1,000 years ago at least, the city was a great monument to elven achievement, which seems to have all but disappeared from the world. So, at this point, I think we should start with Ma'ak.
All right.
Who right now is having somewhat of a crisis of conscience. Doesn't
I
quite
think that's
know.
probably an understatement, but yes.
Yeah, quite an understatement. The idea of just the clutch in general seems to have evaporated before his eyes. Desi no longer wants to hold the role that Ma'ak held for her of clutch leader. And and now you're kind of at a loss in terms of how to move forward in that regard. But why do you pursue Sapphire, and what do you do when you finally catch up to them?
Provided that Ma'ak can approach without basically, I imagine I can see him almost emerging from a shadowy alley, sort of in their path. I guess I don't actually know.
What a terrifying sight.
Yeah, so in just a quick for any listeners who might not know so far, the Verdant Revival is a quasi-religious sect of individuals seeking the restoration of some verdant golden age, bring back a world of plenty and of prosperity,
Yeah.
with life across the world, and an end to the tyranny of the dragon. As part of their credo, they reject all types of label and see themselves as truly spiritual beings. And so they are not you don't know enough yet to know
Right.
like exactly where they stand in the things, but they reject things. They reject given names. They take new names. They reject ideas of gender, of species, of race. They are only sib to each other, as far as you know so far.
Right.
And
Right.
this is
And they
in
also
the
seem to
spirit
reject possession.
this is in the spirit of communal love and acceptance and union across all species and types. So anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, they sound interesting. Probably the Athasian version of what the Hare Krishnas, something like it. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, like close to something like that maybe would probably be the closest thing you could think of, I guess. Yeah.
it's fine. We're about to find out because we've just covered basically everything Ma'ak already knows, except a few assumptions he's making.
Yeah.
So he will basically emerge, make himself known, and use Mind Link, not Metaconcert, just Mind Link. So this is language based. Once he's sure that Sapphire has noticed him, and he will say through telepathy, Sib Sapphire, my deepest condolences for your loss.
Okay, give me just a second. I need to switch out. I need to plug my camera into a different source because it is on the verge of dying. Sorry. Oh, you piece of shit. Oh, you piece of shit. Damn it.
There we go.
Okay, I'm back. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay.
Well, wouldn't be Adventure Hook, right?
Yeah, it would not be Adventure Hook without all kinds of problems. And yeah, okay. So, sorry.
So,
Okay.
Again, my deepest condolences.
You see them pause in the street. You've yet to present yourself, correct?
No, I'm sort of emerging when I know that they've seen me. That's when I will Mind Link. And as long as that's within 120 feet, it shouldn't matter.
Okay. You see some confusion cross their eye, across their face, and they look around. They look back towards you. You can see they start to get kind of suspicious and back up. They start to get a little paranoid of who's in their head.
Do not be afraid. I mean you no harm. I am the Thrycreen across the alley from you. My name is Marc Andreyko.
Give me
Of the Kanako.
Give me a persuasion check.
Sure thing. I will attempt one. Sorry, D&D Beyond is loading. I should have done this before. Here we go. Persuasion you asked for, right?
Yeah.
All right. That is a 5.
5. You hear a voice come back. 5. Okay, it's not a fail, so they don't run away, but you do hear a voice inside return to you saying, "Why do you infiltrate my head? Who are you? What do you want?"
To speak with you and come to an understanding about the massacre of Shadow Square.
Were you responsible for this? Were you behind the attack?
No.
Um,
No. I believe that we have a mutual enemy.
So, and just because I don't think I've described Sapphire yet, Sapphire is a very tall human. Shaved head, bronze skin, dark eyes. Of course, wears the garments of the Verdant Revival, which is the pale green, like kind of hemp halter top, and the kind of pale blue, like indigo blue hemp skirt, like wrap around the waist. Probably you get the sense, like in terms of origin, like look kind of Drojnian.
Okay.
So kind of that kind of a Persian kind of look to them. If you wanted to equate it to like kind of a real world person. Like it's you in the spirit of the Verdant Revival, you don't like to kind of jump there, but biologically perhaps male, but just biologically.
All sleepers are the same to Mark.
Yeah,
So he doesn't really even see that,
so,
especially amongst his people, who like the only time gender matters is with mating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, very muscled, very tall, but also very lithe.
Was Sapphire alone, or was there others with them?
No, they were by themselves,
Okay.
fleeing from Shadow Square because remember they all split up and went on different directions.
Yeah, well, Sapphire was the one I wanted to speak with anyway, so that's fine. And I'm trying not to seem threatening, although I understand how unnerving this is probably for.
The response you get back is, "What do you know? What would you say to me? What is your part in this then?"
Well, I would ask you first, do you have any suspicion as to why a group of defiler wizards would target the Verdant Revival?
The only thing that I can think would be that Kalek, the Sorcerer King, wants us gone once and for all. It is common knowledge within Tyr that he deploys or employs defilers.
Yes. However, I have a suspicion that they may not be connected to Kalek. If anything, the reason that I approach you is because while I do not feel directly responsible, it is quite possible that your people were targeted because those defilers, and Ma'ak has to be careful here because he doesn't want to lie. It is possible that those defilers sought to keep members of the Verdant Revival from speaking with one or more members of my clutch.
Why? And how does that have to do with the Verdant Revival?
It is possible they do not wish you to know what we have brought you to learn. And I will now start to approach as non-threateningly as I can. No weapons are out or anything like that. But I mean, I'm covered in spines. I'm a big bug man, so
Yeah, it's kind of hard to not be intimidated.
Kind of hard not to be
approached
intimidating. I know.
by an 8-foot praying mantis man.
Yeah. Wait, who's crouching, right? To be 8 feet tall. Yeah. So, but I will approach slowly and as non-threatening as I can. Like, for those who would know, my mandibles would be folded in, my antennae would be back. There's like ways I would look non-threatening to another crane.
Yeah, somewhat subservient,
or just I'm not here to attack you.
Yeah,
you are not prey. Relax, right, or whatever.
Sapphire replies that we should keep moving away. in the
I
direction.
will follow you, or you may follow me, whatever you are more comfortable with.
You can tell there's still some wariness, so they kind of look around and say, "Let us go that way."
As you wish. And I won't close any more of this distance. I'll let Sapphire go in the alley first, and then I will keep pace, right? As opposed to like close the distance and suddenly become more threatening.
Okay.
We're in Meta Concert now, so it doesn't matter. Or, well, Mind Link. I haven't switched over to Meta Concert yet. That's still going with my clutch mates, but in theory, we're not doing anything right now.
Yeah.
Although, just to be fair, Aaron, I'll pay for another hour. I know it's been forever, so we'll just keep this going.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you head off in you head off in the direction that Sapphire indicated, and what is
Find some place that Sapphire is comfortable to talk. That's fine by me.
Yeah.
It could be across on opposite sides of a building. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay. Yeah, you find some spot that is inconspicuous where the two of you can kind of like hide out and have a conversation across the distance. And but that's what then Sapphire says, "What is it? What did you bring?"
Let me put this to you in another way first. May I meta concert with you, and if you allow me, I can share, or we can share with one another, thoughts and memories that we have experienced, and it may be a more efficient form of communication. If you agree to it.
How do I know that this is not a Templar trap?
You don't, but I have no love for the Templars, and I will happily share with you many memories that I think will prove my point.
Give me a persuasion check.
Try, sure. Nine?
You're man. You can tell that Sapphire is still not convinced.
That's
and
fine.
Is still wary about like even opening up their mind to
Well,
how you
but sucks.
What else can you do to reassure me? I do not. I'm not comfortable.
Well, let me tell you who I am then, and perhaps that will assuage your reservations.
You want to give me an overview of what you say then?
Yeah, basically, I'm Ma'akahari. I'm a tech chakak of the Hellbreaker pack. I'm from around Uruk, the Dragon's Bowl. I've been on this weird quest basically, I'm like Templars have stolen from my people, slaughtered my people. I'm here to kill a Templar if I can. But there's, I mean, without getting into too much detail, we've run afoul of dark magicians, and that's really where I don't want to share too much until this person trusts me, right? Because I learned that the hard way. So I don't want to give too much away either, but I do want to try to gain their trust. So I will answer questions if they have specific ones. For me, Meta Concert would have been a much easier way. I could be like, here's the memory from Uruk, here's this, whatever, and kind of bring it together.
I think after you kind of explain all this stuff, the story is kind of complicated enough that it seems like it seems truthful to them.
Okay,
so they say,
good.
Very well. I will engage with you in Meta Concert, but if you try anything, I have abilities to put walls up.
Excellent. Well, the reason that I did it this way is so that I would always have your permission before we went any deeper with our telepathic communications. I understand how invasive certain sleepers find that experience.
I appreciate your request for consent. It is a central tenet of the Verdant revival.
Wow. And then I will proceed to share. Let's see. I think Ma'ak is going to share memories of first Shadow Square and just his point of view of that slaughter, right?
Okay.
Where he's like, we saw this magic effect and this magic effect and this magic effect, right? That kind of thing. And where, when possible, in theory, we're seeing verdant revival people dying too, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell this is definitely upsetting.
Yeah.
Reliving it so soon. As if
Yes.
be in it
Yes.
again.
These are the wizards that we have made the enemies of, and I am doing my best to track them in every way that I can. But I am new to this city. I know very little of Tyr and the ways of sleeper. Tortrin is probably what the word that would come through with Ma'ak. Settled folk. I don't know the ways of settled folk. So, but we have much in common, both in before and after this event, I think.
Okay. Let me.
I don't want to take up too much time, but I'm trying to get. Sorry, just Aaron, so you know, Ma'ak is trying to get to that point where he knows that he's like in when they say, "May I hug you?" Right? When they do that exchange, Ma'ak is trying to get this guy to do that without manipulating him into it. Right?
Okay.
He's just being as truthful as he can without saying too much about his clutch too early. That's
gotcha.
Right? Okay. And then
you start to talk. You start to kind of lay out your full story to them.
And with avoiding key details like other wizards and the identity of my clutch mates and that fucking orb. Nothing.
I think with everything that you've done up to this point, I'll give you another persuasion check with advantage.
All right, thank you.
And then so roll that, hold that number in your head.
You got it.
And then I'm going to jump back to the gold 9x.
Sure thing.
So the rest of the group are still at the gold 9x. At this point, you basically still have 3 hours before your appointment, before you're due to arrive at Nerissa's townhouse, which is situated above Nerissa's Colors and Scents. You found out basically, everything you could seemingly from Pressure at this point. Pressure is still there. Before Pressure, gets up to leave, he just says, "Is there anything you need from me before I go on my way?"
No, I think maybe you make a bet on my behalf and find yourself rich. That's it.
Well, Nerissa's house is not typically a betting house, but perhaps there might be some outside betting going on. But I would say before I leave, if you have any coin, clean yourselves up and get better garments. You don't realize where you're going tonight. This is a chance for you to make important connections. This isn't just a fight for Craucus. The rest of you will have opportunities that most never can even dream of in this city. Not even I have been to one of Nerissa's parties. And she has been a supplier of mine for months now.
Does Geza wants to ask Char a question that ultimately, Aaron, you're going to have to answer?
Yeah.
Does the Exarch temple that Char visited, would they have higher level healing magics that could maybe help Craucus? That's what Geza is looking to find out before Pressure leaves, just in case Pressure knows and Char doesn't.
Okay, so this is the information, and so I'll give this information to you, Mark. You can relate this however you want. Fire exarchs don't give anything away for free. So everything is transactional with fire exarchs, especially the temple here. And if you want something, you're either going to have to pay for it. Like if you want healing, you're going to have to pay for it, or you're going to have to do a quest for them. Like you're going to have to do an errand for them, something for them. It's probably not the best place to look right now.
Is there? Do either of you know of a celestial exarch temple that maybe would be keen to help me out?
Char, give me a history check with advantage.
A 10.
And that's with advantage?
Oh, no. Once more.
Roll again.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime I say advantage, you get to roll twice and take the higher of the two.
16.
Okay. Yeah, you do know that there is a celestial air, a temple to the celestial air powers here in Tyr. And you can point Geza to it, and you know that the air exarchs tend to be they're not anything like the fire exarchs. They're much more giving in general, especially with their own kind.
Did I have any experience outside of my experience with Traka? Did I have experience in was it Nibene with any exarch temples there?
Yeah, there's exarch temples. I mean, there's exarch temples in all the major cities. And you know that in Nibene also, the fire exarchs are very much, it's a much harsher institution. It's much less forgiving. In a sense, like if you want to think about it, fire exarchs are kind of the libertarians of the Thasian world. Like that. They're all about, like personal responsibility and being forged through fire. Like it takes hardship to grow. For celestial exarchs, it's less about that because, like the wind, it blows no matter what. And you realize, and the celestial exarchs realize that fate is unpredictable. Like the winds, like fate, is unpredictable, and therefore you should not place the onus of responsibility on the individual for everything. That the idea that fate is fickle is really important in the tenets of the celestial exarchs, and so they have more. They just in general are more compassionate.
And I would have met other celestial exarchs in Nibene or had occasion to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's if Char's 16 doesn't work, then we'll be asking what Pressure knows about.
Well, I mean,
celestial exarch.
Char 16, like he can tell you where Char can tell you where the celestial temple is.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So, but Char himself has not actually been to that temple and does not know the exarchs of that temple. All of Char's dealings are with the fire exarchs. Sometimes the earth exarchs, because dwarves are just kind of in general drawn towards fire and earth as elements of their being. And earth exarchs are like, don't even ask. They're not going to give. The earth exarchs just in general don't give at all. And then water exarchs, you all know that water exarchs are like the emo group of the four elements.
That's funny.
They are nihilists, water exarchs. And so, it's always, you can never tell with water exarchs, and it's kind of rare that you even find a temple to the water to water in cities. They tend to be traveling, like they're more like friars traveling, and that's representative of the fact that just they're outcasts in this world. They have the water is such a rare thing that they're representative of that rarity.
Okay. Yeah, I think pressure. You're good to go, and we gave you the little sculpture of the nasty man who we're looking for. So that's the only thing I could say. Keep at the forefront if you can make any headway there. We need to find those those men.
Okay. So pressure recuses himself, leaving you guys together. So is there anything that you as a group want to discuss or do at this point?
No.
Crocus, I just think we need to heal the disease or poison on your back, whatever it is. I'm sure it won't help to have a pressure point during your bout.
Yes.
Unless you want to shit all over her.
No, I need to be clean, and I need to have paint.
Give me a Constitution save for Crocus real quick. This one's going to be a disadvantage.
All right, first one, 24.
Damn.
Second one, 25. So
the pain in your lower back is definitely intensifying. But
I rolled a 24 and a 25.
That's why you didn't shit your pants.
Yeah, like the pain is definitely intensifying, but you're able to manage it, even though you realize like it's getting a lot worse.
Okay.
So, Char, if you wouldn't mind guiding us to the Celestial Temple, perhaps they'll be happy to help a fellow Exarch.
Okay.
And on Meta Concert, I'll just say, Ma'ak, we'll be shifting, but we'll keep you looped in.
Okay. And then what is Desi doing during this?
You know what? It occurred to me. Crocus and I saved Micah, and I don't know if we just left him hanging or if he's
You carried him. So Micah and Arup should be in theory at the Golden Inex as well. I don't know if they're sitting with us or what.
That's right. I just slogged some people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Arup and Micah are there with you. God. Okay, so
Did Micah live? I thought Micah was killed.
no,
Micah was killed, but I
dying.
saved him.
Oh, sweet.
I
Nice.
spared the
Okay.
dying and then I healed.
Awesome.
So most likely, like you would have taken them to your quarters because they're really in bad shape, and not really like having them down in the common room itself. Probably not a great idea. Either for their health or for like Myra probably doesn't really want them hanging out too because they're just drenched in blood and gore at this point. So yeah, it's up to you, like kind of where you want them to be.
Yeah, I have no problem with them resting in our quarters unless Arup has a place that she'd like to go.
Yeah, no, they're fine with that. I mean, and they definitely want to take advantage of taking cover, I guess you'd say. Being out low. Yeah. Laying low a little bit.
And,
so but yeah, so having said that, so like yeah, so what is Desi what's Desi doing now?
I don't know. I guess I would ask Geza, what's the plan for this evening?
I don't know.
Cross your fingers.
Apart from us helping Craucus to be as successful in the arena and in the social setting as we can. So, as if we can get him up to 100%, that clears the plate for us to do what comes to us. I also was thinking, Craucus, I've never seen you fight before.
In the arena, you have.
Because when I
That
met
was
you,
how
it
you
after a
rescued
fight.
me. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't seen you fight as my brother.
That's true.
And I think I could help you with some minor effects to make you look more like a WWE wrestler who's entering the arena, if you'd like. That's the only thought I had.
I do need to be painted. I need to be painted, and I need to be cleaned.
And would you like
like
perhaps...
a red hand was your symbol or something like that? So maybe that's red hands on your chest, and I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him the red right hand.
But we can discuss it later. I just thought perhaps I could make sparks shoot out from your steps or something. Make you look crazy cool when you enter.
Mainly, what I want to know right now is Desi going with Char, Craucus, and Geza to the Celestial Temple, or is she staying behind at the inn?
I would ask. I would say, do you need me with you?
Yes. Yes. I need you to cheer me. This is no joke.
Well,
I want you in my corner.
I think we're better together.
Yeah, I could keep. I could keep up whatever. What?
Oh, you cut out.
Oh, you're on mute.
Total silence.
You're muted in Zoom, it looks like.
I could keep up whatever spell that is that I did before. Also, if he needs any help, I think I have a some sort of trick up my sleeve when it comes to disguises.
No. This is my fight. I need you there to cheer me.
Wait, no. I'm not asking. I'm asking, is Desi staying at the Golden Inex while you guys go to try to get Craucus healed at the Celestial Temple?
The fight is in hours. Right now, we're going to the doctor.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's fine then. You could do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just wait here then.
Okay, so you guys head off to the Celestial Temple. You actually head into the noble quarters, which is actually where we're going to be returning to this evening. I'll get right back to you guys in a second. But first things first, it's maybe about 15, 20 minutes, maybe a half an hour after they leave Desi. You're sitting in the tavern finishing, your whatever, your food or your beverage, kind of processing everything that happened today. And you see an individual approach you. You didn't notice him come in because you weren't really paying attention to the front door at this point. But you hear a gruff voice before you look up say, "Is this place taken?" And then when you look up, you see an individual who is in a cloak, hooded. They have a scarf over their face. You just see two piercing eyes staring out at you from deep furrowed brows, asking if they can sit across from you.
Shit. No.
They say, "I believe this place is not taken, and I also believe you might want me to sit. I bring the proposition."
Uh,
And he puts his hand down on the table, flat, palm down. You hear a clink sound, like a coin contacting the surface of the table. And he removes the coin, and it is a single shining gold piece. I think you want to hear what I have to say. He puts his hand back down on the gold piece, grabs it, and puts it back into his pocket.
I will. I listen.
He sits down, and as he does so, he motions towards one of Mira's tavern bartenders. And a young man comes by. He says, "Tu broy," and then turns to you and says, "I come on behalf of a very powerful individual who needs a job done tonight. And you just so happen to be in the perfect situation to accomplish such a job."
What situation is that?
You have been invited to the house of Narissa.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very simple task. You will be paid 1 gold piece if you accomplish this task. And all it requires is that you deliver something to an individual who will be in attendance at Narissa's party this evening. Nothing.
What would you like me to deliver to whom?
He pulls from his belt pouch a coin. And it is a ceramic coin. And he says, "Simply deliver this to an individual name of Caro. Caro is a dwarf enslaved to an individual by the name of Agis of Astacles, who shall be in attendance tonight. You do this, and you receive this." And he pulls the gold coin back out again. He holds it in such a way that nobody else in the room could see it. You deliver it, and you receive this. And then he puts it back away.
I just want to be perfectly clear. The name you said is
Caro.
Caro, not Garo.
No.
Oh, that's a relief.
Yeah, right. Okay. Different guy.
Things were about to get awkward.
Yeah.
I have 2 messages for you.
But when you say
Take
that,
this one first and sign for it, and then
yeah, no. But when you do say that, the individual says, "Yeah, oh no, not him. No, not him. Caro. Caro is the. How do I put this? Caro is the ancestral slave to House Astacles. A dwarf who has been in their employ for 200 years now. You, however, have to make sure that no one sees you deliver this coin to Caro. Caro will be expecting it and knows to receive it this evening."
Do you want Caro to know you received it, or do you want me to plant it on him so he discovers later?
Caro is expecting the delivery tonight. He has already been tipped off that he is to expect a package this evening, so it is best not to raise his suspicion. to make sure that he knows that he has received it.
And who are you?
I am a person delivering a message for someone else.
All right. And
And during this whole thing, like, he doesn't remove his mask. Like, you're just looking at these two piercing eyes.
What color are they?
They are going to be, let's see, they are going to be dark, like almost black.
And does he have an accent?
Yes, he talks like this.
Which is a what accent?
It's probably, I mean, it's probably also like vaguely Drojnian, kind of that Persian-esque kind of quality to it. He has like a very thick monobrow. I will say is the one distinguishing characteristic that you can really make out.
And after I deliver this coin, will I contact you again?
You don't need to. We'll know.
Don't like that answer.
If you deliver the coin as necessary, nothing else need happen.
Okay. I'm just curious how I am assured to get that lovely gold piece you keep flashing about.
If you deliver the coin, we will know. And you will receive the coin. And he says, and just to make it more worth your while, and he puts down 5 silver pieces in front of you. Collateral. When you deliver the coin, I will return and collect these 5 silver and give you back the gold.
And if I fail?
Keep the silver, spend them well. They may be the last 5 silver you ever spend. That is as long. That is depending on how you deliver. Remember, it is imperative that it is imperative that Agis of Astocles does not find out that this coin has been given to Caro.
Very well. I will do this. However, I will tell you that more important to me is than gold even is information about the houses. If we are to have a working relationship, it is this kind of payment I would prefer.
If you do this successfully, you have a patron unlike any other.
Now, why didn't you start with that? Consider it done.
We are in tier. Most people looking to make a quick coin do not concern themselves with the long term.
Well, if you know who I am, and by you asking me to do this, I trust that you do, then you know where my interests lie. All the same, I will thank you for the gold upon return.
Okay. So you can pocket the 5 silver. And as he gets up to leave, he says, "Oh, and if all else fails, ask Agis at some point how this year's vintage is doing."
All right.
Caro has been told to perhaps expect someone inquiring in that regard.
I will be sure to ask, and I will let you know his reply.
Okay. Okay, so he gets up and leaves as mysteriously as he came. He leaves behind the ceramic coin as well as the 5 silver. And we're going to jump back to Ma'ak.
Just real quick though, if I look
Yeah.
at the ceramic coin, is there anything that distinguishes it from any other ceramic coin?
Give me an investigation check.
$17.
17. You flip the coin. Okay, so like all ceramic coins, it looks like a little pizza pie. So it has little indentations where you can snap it apart into bits, equaling 10. The difference between this one and a normal ceramic is when you count it, you realize that there are 12 pieces that it could be snapped into rather than 10. And it's almost imperceptible. I mean, like on a coin this small, like it wouldn't even be noticed by the normal person, but it takes you a little while. Like you flip it over, like you see scratches on the back and you think, well, maybe that's something, but like, nah, that doesn't make sense. And then you look over and like, after several minutes, you're like, wait, there's 12 bits on this coin rather than 10. So that's the difference.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so jumping back to Ma'ak.
Okay.
What was
So
the question that we left off with?
Well, you asked me to make a persuasion roll at advantage, and so my number was 14.
Okay, and that was in regards to, sorry.
Basically, to gain his trust.
Yeah, okay.
Or their trust again.
Oh, right. And so and what was that number again?
14.
14
was my best.
Okay, so
I'm not the most charismatic bug, sadly.
Yeah. Well, it's enough to get Sapphire to open up a little bit and basically say, very well, what do you have to say?
Well, I will, I mean, I don't know how close we've been, but I will start to draw closer.
Okay.
And I will say, my clutch carries a great deal of valuable knowledge. But one thing in particular, I believe has found me. And now that I'll step into the light, you'll see that Ma'ak is now wearing that chevron necklace we took off the corpse of that guy we found.
Oh, okay.
Right? The one with the dragon emblem inside.
Yeah.
And now that we are in meta concert, I will share with Sapphire the image I took psychometrically from the necklace of the man who gave it to the dead man, right? He was wearing like all red robes, something like that. And he was the one who said the very cryptic, go to such and such and you will meet the ones who carry the thing that will change the face of Athos. Very vague, right?
Yeah.
That guy, right? Whoever that person is.
Yeah.
I'm not sharing that cryptic sentence, but I am sharing that image of that person. All right. With Sapphire. And I will say, I believe one of your elders sent me a message. Do you know this man?
Well, when you show him the necklace, because you have the necklace on you, like physically on you, right?
Yeah, sure. It's around my neck.
He looks at it, or they look at it, and suddenly you see like the color drain out of their eyes, and they look up at you. It's like, wait, but you've already shared it because like Sapphire wants to say, how'd you get this? But then
I'm only sharing the face of the man who gave the necklace to the dead man, right? That's all I'm sharing, but I'm saying, I believe I received your elder's message.
This does belong to one of our elders. I don't understand.
Your elder was sent on a quest, was he not?
What? I, I,
Whatever he was
these
sent
are
to
sacred.
find.
These are sacred objects. I don't understand why he would give why they would give this away as you've shown me.
No.
This belonged to Drain.
Drain?
Yes.
Who is Drain?
Drain is one of our one of the acolytes. I studied under Drain when I was becoming a monk within the revival. These are sacred objects from the ancestors, from the verdant age.
The emblem of the dragon is from the verdant age, or the emblem was added later?
The chevron itself, these objects date from time immemorial. I know very little about what they are or what their origin is, but I don't understand why he would, not he, I do not understand why Sib Drain would give this to anyone.
I will share the memory of the face of the dead man and say, do you know this man?
Malachite.
Why would Drain give Malachite this chevron necklace?
I do not know, but I remember the last time I saw Malachite. They were embracing me and telling me that they had a task to perform, that they had been one of the chosen to go to the source of life.
What does that mean? What does the source of life mean?
As a member of the Verdant Revival, it is a part of our growth that once we attain a level of enlightenment that we are all seeking, that we are to go on pilgrimage to the source of life. And there add our essence to the world, our knowledge and our passion and love. And that will help bring about the revival.
Have you made your pilgrimage yet?
No, I have not made my pilgrimage yet.
Do any
I am
return?
still young. I still have much to learn before I go on my pilgrimage.
Yes, I have much to learn as well, and perhaps there's much we can teach one another. But do any return from this pilgrimage?
Malachite was the first I have known to go on the pilgrimage. And so I don't know.
By not knowing, and forgive me, the ways of you sleepers are strange to me, but if by not knowing, does that give you cause to suspect Sib Drain of something?
Of course not. Sib Drain taught me everything.
Then perhaps it was me or a member of my clutch that Sib Drain sought to encounter. He sent Malachite on a very specific, though, well, no, I shouldn't say that at all. He sent Malachite on what sounded like a very vague mission to find those who would change the face of Athos. Do you want to know what I know that could change the face of Athos?
Yeah.
Sib Sapphire, you who have eschewed the material world, you who are a luminous being of spirit, trapped in an earthly form, would you like to know who you truly are?
I need time to ponder this.
As you wish. I would like to speak with you again in a time and a place that you would find convenient, but I know is not a trap.
I would like that very much. Give me some time, and I will reach out to you.
I will reach out to you telepathically at sunrise each day until you have decided where we meet again. Is this acceptable?
Yes.
Very well. I will leave you to grieve with your other Sib. And if we or my clutch can be of assistance to you, know we are already your friends.
Okay.
We have made Ma'a. In time, we will be Ma'ak. I have no doubt. And with that, I will, make the Thrycreen appropriate, bow or whatever, and then end meta concert with him or with them. And I will return to the goal.
Well, hold on. At which point Sapphire says, before you leave, beautiful creature, may I embrace you?
You should be warned. Those who embrace me find me spiny.
We have many within the revival who the world has deemed adversary.
I am not your adversary.
Adversary is not only a state of mind, but a state of being. The thorn on the tree is only a thorn if you do not know how to pass it by.
I have trained much of my life to be as thorny as possible. Yet, I wish you no harm, Sib Sapphire.
With enough
I will reach forward to embrace
leather, no thorn can pass. And so you allow Sapphire to embrace you?
Right. So, as Sapphire, sorry. Yes, I will stand. I will open my forearms and allow Sapphire to embrace me, and then I will wrap all four arms around them.
Okay. And Sapphire does the same thing. And what's interesting is Sapphire really kind of like spreads their hands out wide, and as they touch you, you can feel them making contact with your spines across many points, almost as if an individual laying down upon a bed of nails. A single nail will pierce, but many nails will create a strong support to lie upon. Okay. And they say to you, you are loved and you will always be loved.
And I will return telepathically and say, you have always been loved. And with that, I will activate Destiny Dissidence.
Ooh, what is that? Okay, what are you going to do with that?
By applying this power to another creature or to another character, the psionicist can gain knowledge about past lives. One past life can be explored per round, starting with the most powerful personalities. Usually these are the most famous, but not always. That's looking backwards. I'm going to look backwards this round, but I'll probably also eventually look forward, and we can see I touch a creature and inundate them with imperfect understanding of several possible futures. The target must succeed on an intelligence saving throw or be overwhelmed for as long as you concentrate, which is up to a minute. While overwhelmed, the target has disadvantage on ability checks, attack rolls, and speed. Basically, that's just the mechanics of it. For me, it'd be like showing you either imperfect view of a past life or an imperfect possible future, right? Depending on which way we're looking. Now we're looking back. When he says,
looking back?
Yeah, you have always been loved. We're going to see the last time, the last incarnation, maybe the most powerful incarnation. Hopefully they were loved in that life too.
Well, here's what's interesting. You look back and you realize you have encountered a new soul. They have no past life.
Like first time in Athos?
There's nothing before this individual. They are a fresh baby to the multiverse, as far as you know. Brand new soul.
That's inconvenient.
Exceedingly rare. I mean,
yeah.
For a Thri-kreen.
Yeah. No. That's for me. That's like unheard of, right?
Yeah.
So,
but what it also tells you is that also means that they're unpolluted. Their soul is unpolluted.
Which is why they joined this weird, very un-Athasian group.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That actually makes sense.
Okay. Now,
anyway,
that,
so that's fine. Then we'll maybe say, and then next round, he'll say, well, then we see this weird, like before life or whatever. That's weird. But then he'll still remember and say, you will always be loved. And with that, he'll switch and we'll look into the imperfect future. And you see, probably even then, Sib Sapphire being Sib Sapphire and doing Sib Sapphire stuff. So, but again, it would be confusing and disjointed, but enough that you would maybe get some clues, which I think is interesting.
Yeah. And so, I mean, in that regard, I don't know, you uncover lots of strife and turmoil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. That's to be expected, sadly. But Ma'ak will be as techchakak about it as he can, in being supportive and sharing like memories and that kind of stuff. But eventually, after we explore this, probably for up to a minute, right? Well, I imagine this is like a super deep dive kind of thing, and then Ma'ak will just let them go as if nothing was nothing, right?
Okay.
And then, we will speak again.
Okay.
In the meantime, you may consider who else amongst the Verdant Revival you may wish to share what it is that you experienced with me today.
You can see that Sapphire is very shaken, but they do return and say, "Thank you. I have much to think about."
We will speak again. My clutch needs me, though, and I must go.
Okay, so
since I probably burned an hour or more doing that, so
yeah, let's take our mid-game break.
Yep, great, awesome.
Hard 10, and we shall be right back and see what's happening with the rest of the clutch.
Okay.
because we can wrap this conversation up and we can.
It's live. It's live.
Dark Sun,
Say
Dark
what you're
Talk.
gonna say. The horrible things.
We're talking about Dark Sun, Dark Talk, which is a theoretical after show podcast that we're going to do at some point in the future when we become incredibly popular.
Yeah,
and we were talking about
making those big
Seinfeld, and like I have developed a pretty nuanced argument about why Seinfeld was at the vanguard of social commentary and issues and bringing forth like the change that we now see in society and in terms of popular culture, and Seinfeld was really at the head of that, doing that work in the beginning, and it's nuanced. It takes some time to get into it. It takes some time. It would take some time to unpack this argument. But
it was a show about 4 sociopaths, and the only way that show would have ended in a good way is if they realized how awful they were and committed ritual suicide.
Hell yeah, Mark.
It's like Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The sociopath.
No, that's different.
No.
Of course it is. Seinfeld, there would be no Always Sunny because Always Sunny is the logical progression from Seinfeld. They've even said that Always Sunny is Seinfeld, but if the people were even worse, and they took it even further.
The difference between Seinfeld and It's Always Sunny is, in It's Always Sunny, they realize they're playing assholes. In Seinfeld, they don't. They're playing Jerry.
Yeah, but see, it's
a tone deaf show.
That like in the 90s, Seinfeld was doing what Always Sunny is doing now. It's
not even
historical progression.
Show me any episode of Seinfeld that comes even remotely close to the episode where the character comes out and does that interpretive dance.
Okay.
His father walks off.
Yeah. Okay.
Show me any episode of Seinfeld.
I will give you that.
Human emotion in it, other than laughter.
No, I'll give you that because eventually what they do realize is that they've taken the original conceit of Always Sunny, which is a continuation of Seinfeld, and they decided we can't really go any further with that, and they have to change it and do something new. And what they do is they do what you're talking about. So yes, I give you that. But I still say without Seinfeld, there would be no Always Sunny. There would the first 10 years of Always Sunny does not exist without Seinfeld.
So this has been 10 minutes of Seinfeld talk brought to you by fucking Twitch and comic
brought
books.
to you by.
And I would argue that Seinfeld and Friends take place in the same New York City because there's apparently only 2 people of color in the entire island.
Fucking get him, Mark. Get him.
But Always Sunny, same thing. Bunch of white people.
Once again, Always Sunny is a satirical statement, almost making fun of the shallowness of Seinfeld. I'm not saying Seinfeld wasn't well written and wasn't groundbreaking in ways, but to say that it was a cutting edge show about issues is not remotely.
I think that they were approaching those issues in the way that they felt they could push the envelope far enough in the time that it was made. Whereas Friends definitely was not that. Friends was definitely just Seinfeld's sloppy seconds, and then they took it further, and it was lots of homophobia, transphobia. It was just lots of phobia. Like Friends is a show about.
There's not as much of that phobia in Seinfeld, just erasure of anything that's not white.
Hell yeah, get him.
Well, like I said,
it's a testament to both of those shows, which I think are unnecessarily adored. It's a testament to the level of charisma of the actors, because you erase the names of the characters in a script from any episode of Friends. I'll give you the script and tell me who's talking. They all sound exactly how they need to sound for the punchline in a scene.
I'm not defending Friends.
and Seinfeld to me felt like the last 3 years of David Letterman's career. It was just mean for the sake of being mean. that whole thing with George's fiance dying from poison envelopes was so distasteful and so misogynist and so nasty, and they didn't play it like you were supposed to judge George like that. It was played for a punchline.
I can see that, but I still, I don't know. Like this is for a much longer conversation, which we do not have time for right now.
It is now
We are playing
7
Dungeons
o'clock.
and Dragons.
It's okay to be nostalgic. Nostalgic.
Yeah. No, I completely.
I'm no longer going to play Craucus as a half giant. I am now just going to be George Costanza. So I'm sorry for the 2 people that might be watching.
Yeah. Okay, so
She
we're
swiped left, Jerry. That's George Costanza on Tinder, whatever.
There's no
know.
Jerry in our party. Come on.
Yeah.
You're mostly a Jerry.
And that was mostly Gilbert Godfrey, let's be honest.
Aladdin.
I thought it was the Affleck duck.
Okay, cool. Anyways, let's move on.
Okay. So back to the group. We are now with Geza Craucus and Char as they make their way to the Temple of the Celestials, the Celestial Exarchs. I'm going to kind of gloss over this a bit because I'd really like for us to get to the party tonight.
Sure.
So just kind of overview. When you arrive, you meet with the exarchs there. They end up, once they hear what you're here for and they take a look at Craucus, they immediately introduce you to Gedril, who is the high exarch of the temple. And you also find out that his title is Celestial Exarch of the Silt Sea Tempest. And so you know, Geza, that a Celestial Exarch of the Silt Sea Tempest is... There are four stages of Celestial Exarch. You are still in the lowest level of Exarch. Silt Sea Tempest is next to highest. Above Silt Sea Tempest is Celestial Exarch of the Heavens. So you know you're dealing with someone who's incredibly powerful. When they examine Craucus, they come back to you and say, "We are going to have to keep him here for at least the next 2 weeks."
Well, that's not going to be possible.
No.
At least not today.
I won't do that. Do what you can tonight. I will be leaving.
If we do what we can tonight, it is very likely that your friend will no longer be able to walk. He is infested by agony beetles. Give me a history check. Or no, this would be a nature check. So Craucus, Geza, and Cha'ar, you can give me nature checks.
13?
21.
What was that, Mark?
15 from Char.
Okay, so Geza, you're the only one who knows the word. Or knows what this is. Agony beetles are a very rare type of beetle. They're like a tick. But they burrow into the spines of their victims and reproduce that way. And when he says it, it's like a eureka moment. Like, how the fuck did you not think of this before? It's just like you've never encountered someone who's actually been afflicted by agony beetles.
So this had nothing to do with the flux.
No, this is the cause of his flux. and suddenly you connect the dots all the way back to the Fort Iron and realize, oh my God, the elves must have just unleashed agony beetles onto Fort Iron, and that's what was causing the flux. That's what killed Eban, were the agony beetles. For most individuals, and this is something that you weren't aware of, that evidently half giants have some kind of not necessarily immunity to them, but they definitely have resistance to the effects of the agony beetle, evidently. But for normal people, the agony beetle will burrow itself into your spine, give you basically explosive diarrhea for a couple days, and you will die of dehydration. And that's exactly what happened at Fort Iron with everyone. And then once the individual dies, the agony beetle unlatches itself from the spine and then finds a new host, or they do what is evidently happening inside of Craucus right now. Given enough time, they will gestate and birth new agony beetles. And Gedril says to you, I will not prevent you from leaving, but if you do, and the agony beetle, which currently is with eggs, if those eggs hatch, it could unleash a plague on the city. And if that happens, if you choose to leave right tonight, don't return. I understand that you are a brother Exarch, that you are one of us. You are of the celestial path. And because of that, the wind will blow which way the wind chooses. And I cannot stop you from doing that. But once you blow back out that door, we will close it, allowing the wind not to come back in to this hallowed space.
And what happens to Craucus when they birth?
Craucus will be fine. He is a half-giant. Half-giants are perfect breeding grounds for these. What we are concerned with is what will happen to the people in the city.
Is there a way to contain the birth?
Kill every one of the young when they erupt from his spine. But I have to say, the chances that you capture and kill all of them is going to be difficult.
Is there a way to tell how far along they are? What trimester?
It could happen at any moment now. And he shows you. Craucus is laid out, and at present they have him sort of sedated with magic. So Craucus is kind of in a happy place right now, you know? And you look at it and you can see that black nodule on his spine has really gotten big. And it is just inflamed and red all the way around. And they say there's a layer of giant skin over it right now. So it's hard to tell. In anyone else, in a human or an elf or a half-elf or a halfling, even a mole, this egg pouch would have burst already.
Can't we hang Craucus above a pit and start a fire pit underneath them, so when they're born they just fall into the pit?
Well, Gedril says, well, what we would prefer to do is put him into one of our chambers where it will burst of its own accord, and then we can deal with it in an isolated setting.
So exactly what I just said, but a different type of room.
But it could take, because he is a half giant, of its own accord, this could take up to another 2 weeks.
Why don't we hang it? Why don't we cut it open?
Why don't we cut it open in that room?
Because if you cut it open, it will cause a reaction from the mother, and she could possibly sever his spine. At present, she is feeding off of his spinal fluid. And this would be she would be talking, and Gedra would be talking in a way that, it's
Are
not
there
scientific.
Are there any poisons that we can feed into Crocus's bloodstream that he won't kill him, but will kill the bugs, like the equivalent of a chemotherapy?
It's a possibility.
Alternately, could we use
It would
magic?
knock him out.
Could we
Anything that would.
Well, could we use magic directly on the mother? Could we?
Again, anything that we attempt to do right now is going to be transferred directly to his spine, and it could paralyze him.
And if
we could cast Flame Strike on them, but that Flame Strike would channel directly through the mother into the spine. You have to understand that the agony beetle seeks out. There is a we we have these cords that run in the middle of the bones in our spine. And we don't exactly understand what this cord does, but it seems to govern our ability to walk and use our limbs and feel things. The agony beetle lodges itself between the spinal vertebrae, and its mandibles are shaped in such a way that it completely surrounds that cord and feeds off of it, eating the almost the psychic energy that flows through that cord. Is your friend a psionicist or have any wild talents that may have been suppressed recently?
he is unaware of any wild talents that.
So. Of course, fresh meat is even more delectable to the agony beetle. Those who have yet to awaken their wild talents are particular delicacies for the agony beetle.
What is the natural predator for an agony beetle?
As far as we know,
the pleasure bug.
As far as we know, there are no natural predators for the agony beetle. They're a rare thing. Incredibly rare.
I'm not as powerful as you are, Gedril, and I would assume that you're probably the most powerful exarch here, perhaps in the city.
As much as I would like to say that, no, I am not.
You're not. Who is?
Well, there's the High Exarch of Kalek. But she will not see you. She serves Kalek and Kalek alone.
Oh. Well,
and then there's the exarchs of the Crimson Exarchs, and I am, well, there are those in the city who are more powerful than I, but they will all tell you the same. An agony beetle, currently as burrowed as deeply as it is, can only be extracted by allowing it to run its course. And typically what we do is we either take the victim into the desert or we lock them into a room.
I just know that powerful exarchs have the ability to bring life where there was only death. And I know this isn't the same thing, but perhaps you would have the ability to heal his mobility if it were damaged. Were we to excise the infestation now, if he loses his legs, perhaps you could heal his legs?
In order to regenerate lost mobility, it requires a supreme sacrifice. And it would take just as much time.
Are you capable of the regenerate spell?
Of course, I am capable of generation, or regeneration, as you say. But as I said, each case is unique. Each case requires research, and each case requires time. Remember, this is Dark Sun, so things are going to work a little differently. Like, regeneration is just not going to be like, oh, boom, boom, you're done. Otherwise, like Hoxa would not have 3 arms, and Pressure probably wouldn't have a crushed larynx still. So it's going to require like substantial resources to, like, if we were to extract it now, I can almost guarantee that Craucus would lose the use of his legs, and it would take perhaps another month for me to develop the proper ritual to restore him.
When is Craucus's fight?
Tonight.
In hours.
It's like in 2 hours.
What happens if this bursts while he's playing, when he's fighting?
Then everyone at this fancy party gets the flux.
Yeah. If this bursts, if this bursts within the next, if this bursts at all out in public, then these beetles are going to spread everywhere, and we'll have an agony beetle plague on our hands.
How many beetles can possibly be in his body?
Probably about 1,000, 2,000, maybe.
It's like a spider. When a spider gives birth, it's, I don't know if
1,002 or 2,000 is not plague levels. If we have this in a contained area, isn't the fight going to be in an arena?
No, the fight's going to be in someone's house tonight.
In the house of fancy people with fancy people in attendance.
Yeah.
Well, do we care if the rich people die?
Yes.
And we will be among
care
them.
when they care that we got them sick. Or
It would not be good even for the most unfeeling of us. And Char, I have a hard time imagining that you don't care about people. But you will be unable to do anything in this city once everyone knows that we've done this. So
what if we
Gedril, give us some moment.
So here's the thing. So if you recall, again, I'm going to talk a little mechanics. Craucus right now. So here's Craucus. His arc has two blue, 1 black. So the black is this.
The beetle in his back.
This is the little like wrench in the monkey works. So the idea here is that shit. I can't remember what I was going to say. Sorry, you guys go on. Let me see if I can circle back around in my head and remember what the point I was bringing up. But go ahead. But you guys go ahead.
Gedril, give us a moment. We have to talk with party members that aren't present. And in meta concert, we bring everyone up to speed. I'm unsure what to do. I think the right thing to do in general is the wrong thing for what we need to do as a group and what our intentions are.
And there's no hope that they will take him in if after the fight it still hasn't burst?
No, because they see it as a violation of what is right. And they're going to let us make that choice, but they're not going to invite us back in, having been reckless already.
Will the fire exarchs have any compunction about burning Crocus's spine out tomorrow?
Well, they will burn his spine out, but that won't necessarily be what he needs.
No, but if they can heal it afterwards.
I wonder if
Is there
there
a
are
re-
certain. Sorry, after you.
Can we tell them at the fight he's got this infection and postpone the fight? How about being direct and honest? Is that something we could do?
I can't imagine this woman's going to appreciate having to postpone her party.
No, the party's happening one way or the other, and I think it just reflects badly on us, and we may not get a second chance. Pressure said that this is an unheard of access that even he hasn't had before.
And
I
it
wonder-
has to be Crocus because he's the champion. Yes, it's not like one of us could stand in.
I don't think so.
Is there any defense to assure that you are not infected if he were to burst?
I don't know, but even if we were able to defend ourselves, I don't think we could defend an entire party.
It's just ourselves I care about.
Ourselves are endangered by infecting the party because then it's another horrible thing that we're responsible for in one day. We can only run from so many horrible catastrophes that we bring upon the city.
I hate that you bring that up.
Truthfully, though, if these two giants are gonna fight in this person's house, this has got to be a fairly big room.
Certainly.
And I imagine that they're not going to have us all sitting around in a circle while they have like a coffee clutch while this is going on, because the danger to us watching could be bad. If it's 2,000 bugs and they are in a room where there are no other people exposed to it, it's contained. It's not like it's going to start raining bugs. It's going to be 2,000 is a lot. I have fire. You have wind. We can do something here.
Have you ever seen a spider's egg sac burst? Have you seen an insect birthing? Because
Yes.
they move
Yes.
far and fast in every direction.
Well, that's why we stand there with fire.
We won't
you ever
be
seen
there
a-
if it happens in the middle of combat. We will not be there. And even if we were there, I do believe Gedril is correct in saying that we're unlikely to catch them all. I don't think false confidence isn't going to help us here. A plan might. But
This is stupid. Can we just put sack around the black thing so if they do explode, it only explodes into sack?
If only we had that smuggler's pouch, we could tape that to Crocus.
Oh, that smuggler's pouch.
the least usable pouch ever once it's filled with all these bugs.
Right.
Yeah, then everything's
out
contaminated.
Oh, don't go in there. Don't go in there.
How big are these bugs?
When they're born, if there's thousands of them coming out of his spine, they're going to be like
Yeah,
millimeters,
Yeah, they're gonna be little specks, like
barely visible.
like a mite.
I've got that fire blast that is 5 feet wide, 30 feet far, 30 feet in distance.
I'm sure it will catch a lot, if not most. But
It's can we get every single one of them?
Mark,
right.
can you eat these bugs?
But also-
Are these food?
let's just say best case scenario, your wall of flame that shifts, it kills a lot of them, but also it possibly sets fire to the house that we're in.
Or
You know,
people.
there's a context to our action.
Well, okay, then we do nothing and the bugs hatch and then everyone's infected. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about which is the least damaging thing.
Well, the least damaging thing is to make sure Crocus doesn't leave this room until they hatch. That would be the least damaging thing.
Well, okay, so
Then what do we do about the fight?
I
Well,
don't know.
Okay, here's the
Can
thing.
we
though.
reach out to Pressure Vey and see if there's a intermediary solution? Perhaps Ma'ak? I don't know if you would be comfortable fighting in his stead. I don't know if they would accept that even.
I would consider it a great honor to fight such a noble warrior as Kasa. What did I get it? No, Haksa.
Aksa, yes.
To seek a lost home. But if I would gladly step in, but I am not sure if that would satisfy.
I have to jump in, and I'm going to jump in as Gedrill's voice.
Yeah.
Gedrill says to you, my friends, you talk much, but you listen little. Craucus, what would you do?
I would fight.
Would you fight against? Would you fight before knowing everything that we have told you? Would you still leave this place and fight?
Yes, I would leave and fight.
Then, my friends, your answer is simple. The wind will blow which way it will. And he puts his finger up and he says, I will be right back. Quiet yourselves. He leaves for a moment. He comes back and he has like this big, broad strap of leather. He says, bind this around your waist. It may protect you, it may not. But it's better than nothing. Do not remove it. And if you feel the burst, just make sure everyone knows. Are you willing to die for your convictions, young Craucus?
Yes, I will.
Are you willing to withstand the conflagration of your good friends amongst the Crimson Exarchs?
What does conflagration mean?
Fire. Fire.
Would I fire my friend?
Would you stand in fire? Would you be willing to stand in fire that innocent lives do not die?
Yes.
Very well. I'll give you this leather band. Strap it around and we will help you secure it. It will not be comfortable. In fact, it may constrict your ability. Is that fine with you? To preserve life?
Yes, I will do that.
Okay, so a bunch of other Celestial Exarchs come out and they basically strap you up in a big leather fucking corset. And when they do it, you feel the constriction on your spine, and suddenly there's a moment where your knees weaken and you almost collapse to the ground. I'm not going to make you roll for it, but you're able to get back up. You know, however, that you're going to have basically a level of exhaustion, one level of exhaustion for your fight, which is going to give you disadvantage on attack rolls. But they say to you, this is the only way we see.
And then after the fight, we go to the Crimson Exarchs and ask for their assistance.
After the fight, hopefully it hasn't ruptured. And if it has, the belt has kept them in. Return here or go to the Crimson Exarchs. If you go to the Crimson Exarchs, they will have to bathe him in fire.
But you'll allow us
your
back
friend
here.
Survives.
You'll allow us back here if he's willing to use this as a protection.
If no life is lost in this city to the agony beetles, we will consider allowing you re-entrance, Geza Akos. But you will have to atone first.
Whatever it takes to fix Craucus. And just so you know, Gedril, this is not for nothing. And this is not for personal gain.
I understand. You are a celestial exarch like us. We do nothing without purpose. The wind may blow every way, but it always blows with purpose.
Gedril, before we go, do you know this man? I hold up another sculpture.
Unfortunately, I do not.
Can I leave this with you and anyone you trust? See if you can find this man. He's at the center of great evil in the city.
I will.
He is defiler scum.
Hmm.
Have you heard of what occurred in Shadows Square today?
There's no one in the city who has not been touched by the events of Shadow Square today.
He's at the heart of it.
Then I will especially keep my eye open.
And I hand him the sculpture.
Okay. Okay. So, but yeah, as you leave, it takes a little bit, Crowcus, for you to get used to the belt. Your legs, your knees are weak, and you stumble a few times. You're able to catch yourself. It's not the kind of thing that you're just in general that you're fearful of, losing yourself. But it does cause a bit of consternation, like as you look towards your fight. Because, oh my God, it fucking hurts. Like your back is fucking screaming right now. And it is like there is a fucking barbed, like a barbed arrow stuck in your spine. Okay, so jumping back, let's just say, for sake of argument, at this point, everybody reunites at the Golden Inex. You are in the common room. You have gathered back together.
We're at the Inex?
Yep.
Something I forgot to say out loud before, so I'll just say as we're leaving the Exarch Temple, today's been a shit show. I don't think anyone has talked to Ibel Bajuk. Our cart, if you care about it, becomes his at the end of today.
Wait, hold on. No, remember, Ma'ak went and took care of that.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, because he took the Inex, and you guys bartered the Inex back to Mira.
Oh, okay.
And you were able to take all of the contents of your cart and put them into your suite, and you left the cart at the messenger's mount for them.
Okay, so we don't. Okay, sorry, forgot about that. Boop,
yep, nope, no worries. So no, you're all good on that front.
Woo.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys are back together at the Golden Inex. Anything that you guys want to talk about before heading out? You still have a couple hours at this point, so you know that you guys actually do need to get a rest. But you also know that based on what Pressure told you, kind of like stuff that we didn't talk about, on air, you do need to clean yourselves up. And you do need to make yourselves presentable, meaning one of the things he told you was because this is a symposium, you all need togas. That is the dress appropriate for tonight. So you are all going to have to get togas.
Even Ma'ak?
Well, not Ma'ak. I mean, of course, Ma'ak is kind of, unique in this. To our humanoid. Yeah.
We can put some olive leaves around his head like Caesar.
I think the general, like for a Thrycreen attending the symposium, Pressure probably would have said, like, all that's really necessary is a sash. Like the sash that goes with the toga,
that's fine.
Is all that's really necessary, and that's really just a way of signifying to the host that you recognize and respect the tenets of high society.
Mark wants you to think that he does.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So he will wear that sash.
Okay. So having said that, anything anybody else wants to share? Like anything you guys want to share with each other before we move forward?
No.
I would catch the group up on, the highlights of my conversation with Sapphire, but I don't think we need to really belabor that tonight.
Okay.
Other than like I'm making more inroads with them, and I have some ideas.
Okay.
But we'll see where that goes.
I would like, in the interests of the conversations that we had last time, to I will tell this in great discomfort what I am going to do this evening, that I have this goal of delivering this ceramic piece. I'm very uncomfortable. I hate this.
How did this person, you didn't know them, but they knew you?
Uh-huh.
Not by name, they called you Desi, or they called you Tara?
I don't think he called me anything.
He didn't reveal his face, even though he ordered a drink.
Correct.
In fact, he didn't drink the drink.
Okay.
He left it there in front of you. When he got up, he said, "You can."
It when he wasn't
He
looking.
basically said, "You can finish this." Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But he knew you were going to be at the party, right? So who knew that? Pressure knew that. Lajabish knew that, and Odaleska, is that her name? Did she know that? I don't know
Omalaro.
if she knew. Odalara, right? Because she was like,
Yeah.
maybe go steal me that Green Age tiara or whatever stupid
Yeah.
plan she had.
Odaleska is a character we haven't met yet.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
I don't know why that name keeps coming
Yeah.
up.
Omalaro.
Omalaro. That's sorry,
Yeah.
I have it here.
Omalaro. Yeah, and
I would imagine there are a lot of channels that we are not even aware of. Servants and party planners and caterers and a lot of people who might be privy to this information.
Yeah, no, but that it traced back to you so quickly is disturbing. And that he can use it to leverage something for you. And why doesn't he just deliver this himself? Like, why put you in the middle? May I see that coin? That he. All right, I will memorize it because I have perfect memory. So I will look for the details and whatever else. Like, to me, it's just another of these stupid things you people value.
I would say, well, but this one has 12 pieces instead of 10, and I am so proud of myself for noticing.
12 instead of 10, so it's even more worthless.
Yeah. Give me Desi. Give me a shit. What would be the etiquette version of things right now? Give me a.
Char, do you have detect
Insight.
magic prepared today by chance?
Insight?
Yeah, insight for Desi.
Check.
And what did
17.
17. Okay, before we get to that number, what was Geza saying?
I was just asking if Char had detect magic prepared today on his first level spells.
I don't have that as a spell.
It's not prepared, but it's available to you, to us both.
I mean, aren't we can we get a rest in before?
Yeah, you
like
can get a
real
rest. You got.
Okay.
You got.
Then you can pray for new
over an
spells,
hour.
right?
Yeah.
We would need a long rest to do that.
You would need a long rest to change up your spell list. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't have time for that
No.
today. All right.
But back to Desi with your insight check. The one thing that you just from your past in the merchant rings and going to stuff like this before, and you know that Uruk is different from Tyr, but you know enough to know that Tyr kind of follows the Balakan, tends to follow the Balakan tradition of these kind of especially since like you've heard the word symposium passed around, that this is the kind of event that you can't be blunt at. Everything tends to be couched in doublespeak, and you have to, especially since that you're coming in, you would be considered lowest of the low. So you definitely expect that when dinner actually comes, that you're going to be ranked by hierarchy, and that's going to be represented in where you actually sit. And you thoroughly expect to find yourself in a dining room where there are 3 very large couches, and what couch you end up on is going to determine your rank within the group. You expect to be in the lowest tier of those, which also means that you're probably going to get the worst wine. The cheapest food is going to be presented to you. You cannot overreach your place. So basically what happens is you're shown to your place. You're shown to your seat on the couch where you will ultimately eat dinner. That's going to be your place. And then you're going to be arrayed sort of around in like kind of a U-shaped space where everybody else is on different couches. Narissa, being head of the house, is probably going to be at the high couch, and whoever she has deemed to be on her level or the most important guests will be next to her. And then there'll be a couch for those just below, and then the couch at the bottom. And then tables of food will be presented to you. That food will be very much placed in such a way that the best food is presented to the highest class of the party, and you are not to reach beyond your class. So the food that is on that table in front of you is the food to take. So you know that you have to be careful about, what you choose. Tonight you realize is like all about protocol and etiquette. And if you do not comport yourself properly, it could really, alter your, alter the results of how this all works out. So these are just things that from your few years on the rise as a moderate merchant house in Auric, and dealing with people from Tyr and Balik and some of the other cities that follow these particular rules of etiquette.
Speaking of
We're doomed.
speaking of etiquette, what's our context that we're entering this in? Because we're not saying who we are, what we're really after. This is a ruse in and of itself.
Well, what did Pressure say? How did he get us in?
Well, Pressure didn't say a whole lot, other than he got you.
Was it based on Craucus's fame? What
basically is what Pressure said was, he was able to talk Craucus up as like a newcomer, up and coming gladiator prospect. And then there were a few other things that he mentioned. One of the individuals is basically an Aarakocra unlike any that Tyr has probably seen in many, many years. So that might be of interest to Narissa.
We're oddities. Okay.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of oddity in that. The fact that one of the members is from Cled, a dwarf from Cled, that was something of interest to Narissa, because she's particularly interested in finding out more about what's happening there. And you were told by Pressure that evidently there is a guest there who has a particular interest in the dwarves of Cled. For Ma'ak, it was the fact that the opponent in the fight with Craucus is a Thrycreen, and then it was discovered was found out by Narissa that you have ostensibly a clutch that's ran by a Tekchikok, and so she was particularly intrigued by that idea. So like each of you holds some particular fascination for her. For Desi, that's a little more uncertain because pressure.
Well, when we came in through the gate, when we came in through the gate, did we not set it up that Craucus was mine?
Right, House
That was
Dorado,
what we
right?
told the gate guards. But
Yeah,
I don't know if pressure.
I don't know if pressure used that.
Yeah, so basically then the idea would be that you are ostensibly the owner of Craucus or the manager of Craucus, and therefore get the invite because of that. So yeah.
Okay.
For what it's worth, this might be my memory not working quite so well. I was under the impression that we entered and Desi owned Craucus.
Okay.
Well, Desi made a big thing about like he was free because if he was a slave,
Oh,
then in theory, the
you're right,
Templars
you're
could have
right.
confiscated you.
That's right.
Right.
You're right. So she'd hired me.
Yeah,
Right,
we
we
were
I made her
basically
an
said
employee.
that you were like Garrow. Garrow was a champion gladiator who retired or was
That's right,
freed,
you're right,
and now
you're
he
right.
worked as the head of a caravan guard. Right? That's you.
I'm
You're
his
that for
manager.
House Dorado.
Yeah, she's my employer.
Basically, right?
Yeah,
Rais,
yeah.
or whatever the word is.
And I was your property, but I don't think we have to keep that ruse going.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah, that
unless
just got us
we
through the
can
gate.
use it.
Although Menvian is going to be there tonight.
Oh, is Menvian going to be there?
He
Yeah,
doesn't
because
he own
Menvian owns
Hoxa?
Hoxa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
fuck.
Remind me who Menvian is?
he
Menvian-
was
he was
the
the
gate guard
Gate
dude.
guard.
The effete gate guard.
The gate guard, yes. Menvian.
So actually, using that, using whatever we did at the gate is going to help us keep our story
Yeah,
straight.
we shouldn't lie and let him catch us in a lie. Actually,
Yeah. Yeah. So get your story straight. So get your story straight. I'll be right back.
That was like months ago.
for us it was like yesterday.
Yeah.
Literally yesterday.
Yeah.
So, I
It was
mean,
before Christmas.
I don't think we had much more to the story than that. You're his manager. I'm not smart. I am I'm a not smart
Right.
bird person.
I'm smart, just not. You asked me to make
I did not
informed
display my
decision.
speaking prowess in front of them. I just shit off the rail.
Yeah.
No.
But
Love
if
shitting on the
Crusher
rail.
called you an Aarakocra, then it's already the cat's out of the bag. Not that
Yeah.
Mohawk would know that phrase, or that there are even cats in Athens. But you know, but if I don't know, too little, too late at this point. I mean, here's the thing.
Menvian's authority doesn't extend into the city. He could give us more trouble coming in and out since we tricked him
Yeah.
once. But in this scenario, we don't have to keep me dumb, but we could. I don't know.
I think it'd be really easy to say he plays dumb when it suits him.
Right. Like, I just didn't want to talk to you. And
Yeah.
I had to shit.
That's usually how I get out of things in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's worked
Like, this
before.
fucking guy's talking to me. I just shit right in front of him and he stopped talking to me. It was great.
Mhm.
I'm like, you didn't ask if I could speak.
Yeah, you're the idiot who assumed he couldn't speak.
Yeah. Like all things being equal, if you can avoid him at the party, try.
Yeah, right. Well, and Craucus, I'll repeat again. Do you want me to make your entrance more boisterous, or do you want to speak for yourself?
No, I want to be announced. That's typical for barbarians and entrants. We do not typically speak on our own behalf, and it would give me more prestige if I had an orator. So, yes, I wish for you to orate my entrance.
And would you like a shower of sparks to rain from behind you or down onto you?
Yes, the grander the show, the more my prestige grows.
All right.
Do you want to reveal that you are an exarch to these people?
They will not question that. They will look to the performance. Eyes will be upon me, and
No, but the source of the magic.
You know what I can do is not announce. I can amplify his manager's voice, and she can be the face, but the source can be me, and they just won't know.
these fights, they are not always the most managed by the law. And so if a person is an exarch, or this is one of the few places where they can exhibit their magic and not be reported to the law.
Also, Menvian knows that Char is an exarch already, and
That
he'll
is
be in
true.
our company.
That is true. If anything, yes, let's have Char be the intermediary should we need to interact with Menvian for any reason, since they already have a relationship, so to speak.
Okay.
As far as your fight with this Thri-Kreen, though, I have grave concerns for your safety, especially if you believe that fights like this are not well managed and could end in violent. Well, obviously they will have violence, is whether death will be the end result. It's not required, my understanding, in this fight, but that may not stop Hak Sa if you stand between her and her freedom.
That may not stop Craucus either.
Well, that much is true. And if she were to die before taking her last hunt, that would be a great tragedy. But
For her,
yes.
I don't give a shit if she dies.
And in truth, I don't really either.
I would prefer it if she didn't.
Well,
but,
I don't give a shit what you prefer. If she steps to me, I'm putting her down.
Oh, I think you should put her down, and you should keep her away from your girdle.
Oh, if she, don't bring my girdle into this.
You may sense that weakness and exploit it.
This is a fashion
time-
accessory.
Say every time Craucus like gets a little rise, don't bring my girdle into this. With that little shoot of pain, that little like needle in the back.
I don't feel any pain in my girdle.
Yeah.
I have a question for Crocus.
Yes.
Did you not want us to cast any helpful spells while you are fighting? You had said
No.
something earlier.
No, you will not help me in this fight.
Only help you look good.
As my manager, as my orators, you will present me. You will bring me to the crowd. You will bring fervorance to the crowd. I will fight. Those are our jobs.
Yeah.
What?
Do not underestimate this Thri-Kreen's prowess.
I do not.
She is very old.
If she fights, she is a fighter. As am I. But I will not.
Well, you know, as a gladiator, the best way to respect your opponent is to give no quarter.
Right.
We are stepping into the ring, and as such, there is a respect. You are not going to pull your punches. That would demean what is combat. That would demean what is performance for the people. I will not do that. That is not right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Amongst the Kreen,
ultimately,
though,
like,
there's no problem at all with the idea that we would help our clutchmate be the strongest clutchmate he could be and give the best
I would
fight.
cheat.
How many legs do I have, Ma'at?
Cheat Schmeat, those are your rules, sleeper.
Oh, real quick, can we summarize something? Because I would at least like to get to the party this evening,
Sure.
and just establish a few things. But first, you guys got to get your togas, and you realize quickly that togas are not cheap, and it's going to cost to get togas for the group of you. Now, Craucus doesn't need it because Craucus is a combatant, and he will come as Craucus. That's what the host is expecting, is a gladiator as a gladiator. But for the rest of you, to get 4 togas, it's going to cost 1 silver piece a toga.
1 silver piece.
Yeah, 1
Do
silver
these
piece.
togas have superpowers? They're just sheets.
No, they're sheets of the purest white, and you know that sheets that are that because for a symposium, you could get whiter togas, but they would cost much more. But to get togas that would be considered acceptable for something like this, Desi, you got to spend at least a silver. That's going to get you a toga that basically has the color a little bit lighter than this cloth.
Question.
Bleached linen.
Question. What about the 13 bolts of regular undyed silk we have? Could we maybe fashion those into togas?
You would not have time to have toga. Like, you need to go to a ready-to-buy toga store.
Can we rent?
Accounts
Can
for
we
it.
rent?
Like, because like you just don't, in 2 hours, you don't have time to
All
get.
right. Well, here's the other question then.
Yeah.
Does either Char or Geza
You could
have
trade. You could definitely trade.
Yeah, I would like
No,
to.
do you guys have
Wouldn't my toga be
prestidigitation
cheaper
in memory?
because I'm small?
I do have I have prestidigitation. I don't know if
we can whiten whatever toga, whatever cheap ass toga you want to buy.
Oh, that's true. Let's buy cheap togas and whiten them.
Alternately, I have come into several silver pieces.
No. Sorry.
Desi is speaking.
Prestidigitation, because prestidigitation only lasts like a very short period of time.
This is on me. This is on me.
ahead.
If I manage to pull off this trick I'm going to do tonight, I will get even more. And if I don't, I'll be dead. So let me just spend the silver for you to buy these, and we will look very stylish.
Okay, cool.
I still don't think mine should be a full silver piece because it's half the fabric of everyone else's.
Yeah, but it's half again as wide.
You're wider.
Yeah.
I'm not twice as wide. I'm not 6 feet wide.
Yeah, but they have to make more alterations. You know how it is.
They have to get a full size one and cut
It's
it
a
in half.
toga. No, there's no
Just-
alterations. It's the cloth.
I mean, we can quibble over this.
Let us not quibble.
It's kind of it would be an insignificant amount because you all have to get yeah.
I just want to. We don't have another use for this silk, and I'm sure a garment store would value it highly. So perhaps we could trade.
No, we shouldn't unload the silk. That's about to become the most valuable stuff in the city.
Oh, wait until the market dries up.
Wait until the Alcazar silk market dries up.
Okay.
And suddenly everything is going to be worth so much more.
Well, if we
sell
I'm
these
not
togas
as an
first
economist. I'm
after
just,
we're done
you
with
know.
them?
Oh, man, I kind of we're gonna wait and see that. If that pans out, I'm gonna give Rob some bonus XP for that.
So we need 5 togas, including whatever Ma'ak's wearing.
You need 4 togas.
Okay.
Because you don't need one for Craucus.
So I'm going
We
to
also don't need
remove.
one from Aak.
Oh,
So
right. You only need 3, but you need the sash for Ma'ak, so that's going to be
3.5 silver.
3.5
Well,
silver.
also, Geza already kind of wears a cloaky toga. Is that not good enough?
It's not. You have
Yours is filthy, though.
You have a robe.
Yeah.
It's not a toga. A toga is something very different. A toga
It has
is
to end below crotch level. Be
5
sexy.
meters worth of cloth that wraps around you, and
Okay,
things
okay.
like that. Yeah,
That's fine.
it's
that's
pretty.
fine.
It would be like maybe not to the just like people on the street, but to the nobility of the city, they would know.
1 gold is worth 10 silver or 100
Yes,
silver.
10 silver is 1 gold.
Okay, because this is
So
most of our money.
3.5
is going to
silver. But Desi said she would cover this.
Did you tell us the terms of your gold exchange? Because he said you had to give it back.
Well, oh right, he did.
I mean, you're going
We'll
all
make-
in. You're going all in. You're doing that thing. That's so classic. I love
Here's the thing.
that.
We have 5 silver and 49 ceramic pieces in the bank right now. So the Bank of Geza can make this withdrawal. We're just low. We need to restock.
Okay.
Is probably a way or 3 to get rich at this party if we're
Yes.
smart.
So let's leave this party richer than we came in.
Okay. Okay, so Geza, you're going to drop the coin from the community fund?
And so we're spending 4 silver then for all the things we need?
I think 4 silver will cover the togas and the baths that you need to take, which would be
all right.
like for you, it'll be at the Shining Sands, which means a sand bath.
Yeah, well, Ma'ak wouldn't go anywhere near a water bath anyway.
Yeah, and so, but you spend the little bit extra because I mean, getting a sand bath at the Shining Sand does not cost much. But what Desi will tell you is like we need to go above and beyond. So you get the sand bath, which basically means that you get you head back into a room where it's basically just a sauna, and it fucking heats you up beyond what you could even previously imagine was possible. Opens your pores, you start to fucking sweat. As soon as you're fucking sweating like crazy, they take you out into a cold room, and then attendants begin to slather you in oil. And it's not like a high-end oil. It's olive oil that has some scents in it. So you get like an extreme whiff of like rosemary and maybe some cinnamon or cardamom. You're not quite sure. Mm-hmm. And then they slather you that, and then they take out some curved sticks and they start to scrape that oil off of your body. And it is painful when they scrape it. And you're not used to it. Now, for Geza, you don't go through this because you're a bird person. For you, and interestingly enough, you find out from the people at the Shining Sands that they have actually had Aarakocra in, but they have never seen an Aarakocra of your particular stripe. They're usually the dark feathered type with hooked with long red beaks. And tend to be very, like confrontational in their approach. So you know exactly the the kind of Aarakocra that they're talking about, the Orcatha subspecies of Aarakocra, and that you grew up with. And so they're all very fascinated with you, but they do let you do the traditional sand bathing of the Aarakocra. And that's pretty much as far as you go. And you get a great sand bath. You shake yourself in that sand, turn yourself over. And then what they do is they fan you, like basically you've never experienced anything exactly like this. But they basically ask you to open and spread your wings. And when they do, they take out these big fans and they start to like buffet you with the air of their fans. And you can feel it, this cool air tossing the sand out from between your feathers. It feels so good. And then, of course, for the rest of you, like I was saying,
that was adorable, by the way. That video would have like 1 million views on TikTok.
And yeah, for the rest of you, you're just there as they scrape all of that oil off of you, and then wrap you up in your togas, and you're ready. And when you finally emerge into the vestibule of the Shining Sands, you are all like new individuals. Even I'm not sure exactly how much Ma'ak would have engaged, but when Ma'ak shows up, they say, "Oh no, we can clean Thrycreen as well, if you let us. It's up to you, Ma'ak, if you want to engage in the cleaning."
Yeah, one in tier.
Offer to Thrycreen.
Yeah, well, I'll see what their tier bath is like. I mean, I imagine for us, we What? I mean, we bury ourselves in sand, so it's not a big deal. We'll just probably scour most impurities or whatever dirt off that way, and then in theory, or like in rest, we would buff it, like or buff ourselves to get it to shine. So we'll see what they do. I don't know.
Well, what they do with you is they take you into a special room, and it's just a square chamber. But in one corner, they tell you to go back to this corner, and you can see that up above there's this sloosh, like this sleuth, where there's like a hole in the ceiling and like a little ramp that comes down and overhangs the space. And they say, stand under here.
All right.
And when you stand under there, somebody calls out and they say to you, do not move.
All right. I won't.
And and they give you a small hood, which is specially shaped for your head.
Okay.
They say, put this over your head.
All right. I'll follow. That's fine.
Right.
I'm curious to see what this is
And
about.
then they call out, and then you hear like a weird clacking sound, and then you hear a whoosh, and then you just feel this torrent of sand just fall down upon you, and it keeps falling and falling and falling, and that's when you realize why there were like open slats in the floor below your feet. The sand is just pouring over you and over you, and it pours over you for like 10 minutes.
Okay, so it's like raining sand. That's cool.
Yeah, it's raining sand over your body, and afterwards they shut it off, and they come
sand.
out.
Hallelujah!
It's raining in sand.
And with that, and with the same kind of like fans before, they begin to buffet you with wind and blow all of the incidental sand that's left on your body off. And then some individuals come out and they have like these hair brushes, and they start to very long hair brushes on like poles, almost like brooms. They start to like scrub you up and down.
Okay.
Getting in between all of those spines without having to actually touch you.
Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, like you're standing there and you're like, you have a new understanding of what it means to be clean. And it almost feels disconcerting. Like you feel different than you ever have before.
Huh. Okay.
This pristine feeling, but it also makes you feel a little vulnerable, I guess. You know?
Okay.
You're not used to it, but you come out and I mean you're sparkling. You're chitin. Your carapace is
buffed.
shining.
Nice. Yeah, like a brand new car, right?
Yeah, and at the end of they ask you like, what scent would you like? And it's like,
I don't.
like, you know,
Ma'ak is probably like,
spring.
what waxes do you have?
Yeah.
I'm going to a party tonight. I need to look my best.
Okay, so you guys all do that. That gets covered, and then you can head off to the party. And when you arrive, you head into the Noble District, and you're just enter into the Noble District, and of course, like outside of Cha'ar, none of you else have actually entered into this area of the city. When you do, suddenly you realize, oh my God, what a difference between the haves and the have-nots. Because even on the Caravan Way, you thought like, oh my God, look at this place. Like this is like these like multi-story structures. But then once you enter the Noble District, you realize not only is the scale of the architecture on a completely different level. These 2, 3, 4-story like single residence mansions, but the entrances into the Noble District itself is guarded by Templar and city guards and household guards. So as soon as you enter into that area, you get stopped and questioned. You have to explain yourself. Once they find out that you're going to this party at Narissa, they completely change their tune, start to become very deferential to you all. And then you go, and it's not very far because Narissa's place is right sort of on the edge. So it's just like a half a block into the Noble District when you get there, and you can see the entrance into Narissa's Colors and Scents, and you can smell cinnamon and frankincense, all of these incredible perfumes coming out of her home. There are guards standing outside, moles, lathered in oil and fine scents, nude head to toe. The only accoutrements they have are these long spears with these gnarly stone blades at the tips. They usher you in. You pass through a narrow corridor that then leads into a stairway that goes up and turns to the right. And as you come up, you enter into a, let me put this on the map. You enter into a corridor as you come up this wide stair. And as you enter into this corridor, you see, several other very respectable high society types staying around, engaging in small talk with each other, holding drinks and very fine cups. Directly ahead of you, as you come up these stairs, you can see these statues of nude warriors standing astride either side of a great doorway. And as you look to the left and right, you can see the courtyard kind of open up around this stairway. It's all enclosed overhead, so you're underneath a porch with a roof. It looks out on the street below of the Noble Quarter. There are these sculpted columns that are in the form of women, all in different poses, some playing instruments, some holding weapons, all holding up the roof of this portico. And there are massive clay pots holding plants, palm trees, dates, around the courtyard itself. And you can hear the sound of running water from beyond the doorway into the deeper region of this townhouse. So the only individuals within the group who have ever seen anything like this before would be Desi and probably Geza, just from Geza's time being enslaved in Nibene. Iban, Iban never attended parties like this in Nibene. It was never on his, he just never concerned himself with it. So,
well, Iban did attend parties according to the backstory that Rob and I discussed.
Okay,
that was
according to that, in that, yeah. I assume that's probably for...
That was dark, or that was Veiled Alliance business. That wasn't like a social call thing. Yeah. He wouldn't have visited there if he didn't have a reason to be.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's fair. So as you come up, you are greeted by a household. Well, there's probably no better way to put it. It's hard to tell if they are a employed servant or someone who is enslaved. Bless you, Emelie. But you are greeted by a nude half elf male who comes forward and recognizes you all immediately and says, "My lords, so good to see you this evening." I see that you are ready. May I introduce you to the lady of the house?
Desi, I think you're in front of all of us.
Yeah, this is your show for sure.
Yeah, and being a half elf, this man is about 7 feet tall, very lithe, bronze skin, dark hair braided down the back, pointed ears, but vaguely, like not as much as an elf. Like a true elf would be like 7.5 feet tall, but very tall for a half elf. Again, also this half elf is carrying a clay platter that has cups on it, and also offers the group of you a drink.
Can I detect poison? That's like a knee-jerk reaction whenever offered anything.
Yeah, you can detect poisons. And with your wild talent, and with it, I'm not even gonna make you roll. No poisons detected. Everything seems to be on the up and up, so you can take what you will. They say we are offering the best Asticles wine tonight in honor of our guest of honor, Agis of Asticles.
Who's that?
We've heard his name before.
He's the guy I have to give this ceramic piece to his dwarf.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but we heard his name even before. He grew the wine that we traded. He's also, his name has come up as a possible patron to seek out, but we kind of went the Verdant Revival sort of way. But like, in theory,
Agis of Asticles is evidently a patron, like a supporter of the Verdant Revival.
Right, that's it.
Supposedly he's kind of sympathetic to the anti-slavery movement. You haven't really learned much more about him, and you can see some other people kind of staying around as you do approach, because then Craucus comes up and he's fucking 11 feet tall. Everybody turns their head and starts to kind of like, peas and carrots, peas and carrots. Oh, peas and carrots, peas and carrots, peas and carrots, peas and carrots.
When this half elf offers us this wine and says it's on behalf of Agis, am I saying that right? Agis
of Asticles, yeah.
Agis. I just wrote it down. I never write it down phonetically.
Agis. Yeah, yeah. Agis.
Okay. I would say, can you point him out to me?
Oh yes, he's within. Would you like me to introduce you?
Oh, if you would, that would be stupendous.
Okay, so you're escorted through the doors.
Do we all grab our wines?
I'm
grabbing a wine.
Yeah.
Not.
Whoever wants a wine can take a wine.
Mock would look for juice or something like that, but he wouldn't take alcohol. He would like technically that's poison, so no thanks.
Oh, you're embarrassing me.
Not before a fight.
If you look to the map, as you enter in through these two monumental sculptures through this main doorway, you enter into a space, and there are perhaps about like 8 other individuals all standing in this area with togas. There are household servants walking around, ostensibly enslaved people. You still don't know where Nerissa stands on the in terms of slavery, so you're not sure if they're employed or if they're enslaved to her. But the thing that stands out to you most, and this is sort of the weird water sound that you heard just before, as you walk in, the center of the room, there is a 10-foot by 20-foot basin that is filled probably 2 feet deep with crystal clear blue water. And in the middle of it is a fountain that actually is like erupting water that is falling down and cascading into the pool. And all the way around the circumference of this basin are pillars holding up the roof. And you can see that there is an aperture in the middle of the roof above you, letting sunlight in. And all the way around the perimeter are rooms open to you that have curtains drawn that allow you to see into them. There are couches and benches and sculpture, and I mean, there's a cool air wafting through because there are two at the far end of the room, standing on either side of this kind of large room at the other end. There are household servants with giant palm fronds who are fanning the room, causing a breeze to move through the space.
I'm gonna guess she's pro-slavery. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, and those two individuals seem to be moles.
Okay, so point of order. Should the worst happen and Kraukis start to give birth, I recommend that we submerge him in that water. It might drown the bugs.
I think that is an excellent idea.
Should the worst happen.
I don't know if our beetles, do they drown? I mean, I guess.
Oh, Ma'ak is assuming because Thrycreen are terrified of water. That water is not good for insects. So that's probably.
Also, it will waterlog their wings, if nothing else. This is how I kill flies, is you waterlog their wings. And so they fall and then you smash them.
Yeah, when I rolled a 21, what do I know about these bugs? Do they fly? Do they jump? What do they do?
They don't fly, they're beetles. They crawl.
But they scurry fast?
Yeah, they're pretty fast.
They can drown though.
But they are about the size of a tick. So full grown, they're only about a 1/4 inch in diameter.
And yeah, do I know if they survive in water or anything?
That's something that you're not sure about.
Okay.
I can imagine most Athasian bestiaries don't concern themselves whether something drowns.
Right.
You know, it's like, do birds drown? Probably not. We don't know.
So he's taking us to Agis.
Yeah. Okay. So basically walks you past you see like people like all turn and stare at you. They're all looking at Kraukis. They go back to their hubbub. And on the opposite side of the pool, there is a tall, very handsome man with long black hair that comes down past his shoulders, well muscled, very chiseled features. He looks over to you, makes eye contact with the servant, and then the servant takes you up to him and says, Agis of Astacles, I would like to present to you Kraukis and his retinue. And Agis turns to you. He was talking to a woman. Turns to you and says, "You can see like, I mean, everybody, give me insight checks."
8.
19 Geza.
18.
18. Desi
7. I'm bewitched by his beauty.
Yeah, probably bewitched by
Mine?
And I rolled a 21.
I would imagine, like, okay, so we're
That's
just going to
the
say Agis of Astacles looks like Keanu Reeves right now.
Nah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah, that's who I'd cast. I'd totally cast him as August.
yeah. Yeah, he looks like Keanu Reeves right now, and he turns to you and says, "Whoa." No, I'm sorry. I had to do that. Yeah, I think Mark was like, "Nope, that's it. That's the end of that. I'm done." No, he turns to you. I'm sorry. I had to. Agis turns to you and you can tell. Okay, so Char and let's see, Desi had only a 7. Who else had the high number?
21.
Mark had 17.
17.
21.
At 21.
21,
right?
and Char had a 18, 19, something like that.
Yes.
I
Okay.
had an 18.
Okay, yeah. So the three of you realize that, like right off the bat, you can tell that Agis really is like his head's not here, and probably does not want to be here right now. But as he looks to you, you can tell that he observes the rules of decorum, and he kind of holds his hand out towards you, kind of bows and says, "It is my pleasure to meet you," and kind of introduces himself to each of you. At which point he turns or he kind of addresses the group. "So, who represents tonight's combatant?"
My name is. First off, can I contact Ma'ak and say, give me a city that the Dorados are from that is not where the Dorados are from?
You could be from Rom or Draj or Nibene or Balik or we. No, that's not a city.
There's Golg.
Golg is
Oh,
close.
I like gold because I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a forested city, not that far from Nibene, all things
Yeah,
considered.
it's just south of Nibene.
Okay, I will say my name is Desi Dorata of the House of Dorata from Golg.
I've not heard of House Dorata from Golg. Have they opened up trade this way?
We are looking to create a hub in Tyr.
I'm sorry, I'm somewhat distracted this evening. The events of today have affected me quite significantly. But I'm glad to meet you, Desi Dorata, of House Dorata of Golg.
Were you in Shadows Square?
Likewise,
No, I was not in Shadow Square. I was safe in the confines of my estate outside the city, like so many other nobles today.
What did we know from our high insight rolls?
His head wasn't.
That his head's not here. That he
Okay.
obviously doesn't want to be here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right now.
do I see a dwarf servant anywhere who may be my target?
Yeah, I'm not going to make you roll for that. He's actually kind of standing nearby, making sure that observing his lord very pointedly, and you're quite certain that must be Carol. He's a dwarf, very short, very old. A very old dwarf. Deep wrinkles under his eyes, creases, crow's feet. bent back.
What is he? What was his designation? This party is being thrown in his honor, in August's honor.
It's not his honor. He is you were told he's the guest of honor, in the sense of like, and you would know from your background in Uruk that these kinds of parties always rank their guests. So there's always like the guest of honor, like the most important guest, and then they rank the guests all the way down the line. So he is obviously the highest ranked guest tonight. Now, just real quick, some other people that you notice. As you start to engage with Agis, just past. So I'm just gonna turn off all of these because it's really not important to close this. So you can see that past this room. So right now you guys are engaged with Agis right here in front of this room, and you know that like for somebody like Narissa, this space that you're standing in front of is actually her office. So you can see like there's a bench in the middle, there's a table here. There are the finest sculptures and pieces of art around the circumference of this room. And then on the other side, this enclosure is a wooden enclosure that would obviously keep separate this area, which is sort of a communal space, from the back area, which is the private space. And that private space that's up here, which you can see through because there's actually like glass window panes, that's the space where ultimately all of the guests are going to be invited to go into. That is the sanctum of the house of Narissa. Now, when you look through one of the panes, you look out and you can see Minvian of Sturces standing back there. There are several children running around him, and there's a woman standing just next to him, kind of doting over him. And they're back here, and you can see that there is another pool that is vastly larger than the one here in the space that you just came through, 25 by 25 feet, probably about 3 feet deep of water. If you look through that screen.
Where are you supposed to fight this Kreen, Kraukus? I don't see a battleground.
I don't know. That is usually the purveyor of the fights decision. I have fought in areas as small as a kitchen because they wanted the theme.
How ghastly. Do you think they would have you fight in that pool of water? If so, you might be at an advantage.
It is possible. They may also have a basement area.
Well, do we see the Haksa yet? We spotted her?
No, you haven't seen her yet.
All right. Obviously, Ma'ak's like antennae are up. He's looking for her.
Yeah. As you're standing there, someone announces, one of the other household servants or slaves, enslaved individuals, it enters into the main doorway into this space and announces, "Gladiator Neva has arrived." And you all turn. You see this is a moment where Agis kind of perks up and looks over with actual interest. And the rest of you look over and you see a woman stride in. A woman. Unlike any you've seen before. 6'5". Shoulders as broad as any mole. Body rippling with muscles. Skin bronzed from the sun, the Athasian sun. Hair black like the night, hanging down in braids. From beneath, a black obsidian inlaid helmet that just freaks you all the fuck out. She comes in, she has just a black leather like bikini on, and she carries at her side a steel half sword on one side, and that's it. Sandals laced up to her mid thigh, and she has several attendants come in beside her, and she strides in. And as she does so, she walks straight forward, giving no concern to the fact that there's a pool of water in the midst of her. She walks straight the fuck through it, steps down into it, water splashes up beyond her side. She walks through the pool, up the other side. She comes straight towards the group of you standing there talking to Agis. And as she does so, Agis like takes a step back, and you know that if you don't take a step back, she's going to fucking run right through you. And she does not stop as she comes towards you. So what do you guys do as this Neva character comes striding towards you?
I will step aside with Agis.
Yeah, I'll get out of her way.
She comes past you. You can smell the must off of her. The smell of blood and battle. And she goes right past you, and there's a moment where she looks into your eyes, and you can just see the pinpoints of her eyes through her obsidian mask. Just so you know, let me see if I can find the image of her, because it's on the cover of one of these books.
I don't suppose I get backed into a corner with Caro, do I?
This might be your chance to peel off, though.
I like that idea. I like the idea that you kind of get backed into a corner with Caro.
Because if I feel comfortable, I'm going to drop that sucker off with him. Like if he has a fold in his clothes anywhere that looks, or a belt, if I can sleight of hand it into his belt.
Okay.
While everyone's looking at her.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Give me a Okay. So you back. Okay. Sorry, I don't have my books with me that show Neva, but at any rate, as you get backed in the corner with Caro, what would you say? Do you say anything to him?
No, I really don't want anyone to notice. So it would just be, I would try to make it look like one of those. I might even, like, if one of my compatriots is in front of me, sort of grab his belt and urge him back, so it looks like I have to get even closer to Caro.
I'm going to give you sleight of hand with advantage because of Neva, and everybody is focused on her.
Mm-hmm.
Can I inspire myself as well?
Sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't mess this
Remind me
up.
what inspired. What does inspire do?
Gives you advantage on a roll.
No, she already has advantage. Doesn't it give her +4 or plus die 4 or something?
Oh yeah. So if you using bardic inspiration?
Yeah.
That'll give you that bonus D6 or D8. I'm not sure where you are right now. If you have a D6 or a D8.
Is that a cantrip? Is it on your spell list or?
Oh, here it is. It's a D8. 1d8.
Yeah, nice.
So you get to add a D8 to your roll.
That's
nice.
That's better than
Okay.
my guidance.
Yeah.
Okay, so sleight of hand. How do I make it do? Oh, with advantage. And 1d8.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you guys, I got to roll a d8, but I will tell you.
That's pretty good, what I see.
Yeah, roll that sucker.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Well, it's a 28.
Oh, that's still awesome. That's
Yeah,
what
no,
he does.
you drop that coin into a exposed pocket on the body of Caro, and Caro doesn't notice. Nobody notices. It is smooth as silk. Dropping that into, and you can just step back forward, and Neva strides her fucking confident fucking ass right past you, heads straight out through the screen. Mark, you're asking.
I have got to go in about 5 minutes. 'Cause
Yeah,
we're running
We're gonna
over.
wrap up. We're gonna wrap up right now. We'll just say that the last thing that happens in this is Agis turns back to you and says, "You know who that is, right?
No. Who is it?
That is Neva, the fighting partner of Rikus. They are the undefeated champions of the arena, set to fight in 3 weeks during the Festival of the High Sun. She is magnificent as well as Rikus. The only reason I chose to come tonight, after the events of today, terrible.
Yeah. So, how is this year's vintage?
Still afterwards. Yeah. August is like, oh, I don't know. Pretty good, I suppose.
To which the dwarf
Now,
starts.
there just some things that just some things I want to set up as we close out tonight. So in the ensuing sort of like small talk, here are some things that you find out. The main guests for tonight were, of course, the group of you. Augie Sebastocles, there's Minvian of Sturces, who is sponsoring the combatant against Craucus. There was also a woman who you saw as you came through, whose name is Marigal of House Noreen. She belongs to like a minor trading house, but it turns out that she has quite an interesting story that someone says, oh, if you have a chance, ask her story about her time in the desert. But since then, she's been studying at the School of Thought. Very interesting. Psionicist. You find out that there are 2 individuals that were supposed to show up tonight, but end up not. One of them is an individual named Zalkor. Zalkor is a member of the city guard, but because of what happened earlier today, was called away to oversee rescue operations and questioning. The other individual that was supposed to show up was someone named Etheros of Hamos, who was another member of a trading house, and you're not sure why. Nobody really understands why that individual didn't show up today. And then the other person that shows up tonight of real prominence is someone named Jabia of House Sham. Turns out Jabia, and you hear some kind of like hubbub talk before you actually get properly introduced to him. Evidently, Jabia is one of the sons of House Sham. House Sham is one of the oldest and most powerful trading houses in all of Athos, based out of Nibene, and House Sham is the house responsible for selling to your former slave master Geza. House Sham was involved in the exotic animal trade and is responsible. You never met Jabia, You don't know much about him outside of the fact that he is the youngest son of the patriarch of House Sham, Jehovah. Keep in mind, just for everybody's idea, House Sham is basically the Dark Sun equivalent of House Harkonnen. So one of the most influential, like from Dune, one of the most influential trading houses in all of Athos. But you guys really don't know much about Jabia. And yeah, so like, and up until this point, you still have yet to see Haxa. And I would say that is probably where we could pause for this evening.
Just real quick, anyone from House Ianto there?
No one from House Ianto.
Or Stell.
I mean, and no one from House Stell, which makes sense because, like, what you find out is that you have a cross section. August of Asicles is nobility from the city of Tyr, meaning that his money comes from agriculture. You have Minvian of Sturces, a member of the Templar. You have Marigal of House Nareen, merchant house. You were supposed to have a couple of people that didn't show up. Neva, a gladiator, and Jabia of Sham, a member of a high house. And this kind of represents like what you've heard in terms of like, and I'll get right to you, Joe. This is kind of what you've heard in terms of the cross section of what you should expect from parties like this. Like very obviously very conscious, very self-conscious conscious of crossing streams, so it's hard to tell like if anyone here has animosity or rivalries with each other. All stuff to be found out as you go through. But at any rate, Joe, what were you going to ask?
I was just going to say, before Mark evaporates, you should have him choose his bead.
Oh, right. Well, no, because we're not at a milestone yet. So
okay.
Once we get through this encounter at Narissa's place, then we will choose beads.
Okay.
So yeah, so we're good. So having said that, any other question? Last questions before we sign off for tonight. Nope. Okay. So once again, thanks everybody for joining us for Dark Sun, Fire and Sand with Adventure Hook, and all of our players. Have a great night. Stay safe, and we'll see you in 2 weeks if there's still a world in 2 weeks.
Okay. Wave goodbye, everybody.